What's up, YouTube? What's up, everybody? Good morning. What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, KHEA Radio. Make sure that you are following us on Facebook. We're going to have an awesome day today. We have some stuff going on this weekend. We're going to be touching on that. We have a canned food drive that's going on. Right now, we got about 13 seconds left, and we're going to get this show started. Get it going. So hopefully y'all are having an awesome day. I believe we're going to impart something useful and some positivity today into your life. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And we are your Kickstart morning show host for KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. If it sounds like there's a monkey hanging from the microphone doing like a slam dunk on it, it's Curt.
Sorry, my mic was like turned facing like the computer. I'm like, I can't talk into that. It's got to be facing me.
There you go. Well, you know what? So we have some stuff going on today. We're going to have an awesome show, but first we want to touch on what's going on tomorrow. So tomorrow is Saturday, and we have an event taking place in Texas City at the Moore Memorial Public Library right off of Palmer. If you're familiar with Texas City, then you know if you keep going, you're going to get to like Alfie's Fish and Chips. Then you get to Taqueria in Texas City. And then there's the Moore Memorial Public Library on the right. I remember being a kid, we would go to field trips there, get some books and do some reports. We didn't ever got the buck, though. But tomorrow morning, starting at 10 a.m., we have an event going on.
Yeah, tomorrow is our canned food drive. You can come and drop off canned food items, non-perishable items, to the Moore Memorial Public Library. We're trying to pack the Galveston County Food Bank for the holiday season.
It's going to be a good time. We teamed up with Texas Chronicles, History, Mystery, and Adventure. We're teaming up with Chef Mary Bass and her nonprofit called Chef's Table Charities. You know, Mary, there's a lot going on in everybody's lives right now. It's a busy time, but we are excited to team up with both of these organizations and a bunch of people throughout the community, a bunch of restaurants, business owners, gyms. One of those gyms is going to be in today, but we're all trying to collect as many canned goods as we can, you know, Furniture Zone, Texas Pit Stop, all of these places trying to make sure that we fill up the food bank here in Galveston County for the holidays.
Did you see how packed the Furniture Zone box was?
Yeah.
We might have a winner.
I don't know.
Remember,
we'll see.
If you are a business and you have those canned food boxes for the Galveston County Food Drive, if you have the most items, you will get a free month of sponsorship here at KHEA Radio.
And how cool is that?
That's awesome.
That is cool. So hopefully we have some people who are fired up about it, and you are going to be able to drop off some canned goods in the morning if you'd like to. I know I saw Solian got on the stream. Solian, she has been doing this, like hustling for canned goods, like placing boxes in places just because she likes to give back to the community. So I saw she had posted somewhere on I don't know where, but that she was like, hey, I got to go pick up some canned goods from these different places. I think it was like the Dickinson Police Department, like 2 car dealerships and all this other stuff, just because she likes to help give back. So you don't have to be a business. You can just be an everyday person, you know, just somebody who likes to do something good and try and collect some canned goods and then drop them off to us tomorrow, 10 o'clock to 1, right? 10 to 12 or so?
Yes, 10 to 1. And I'm really excited about this because we here at KHEA Radio, we love the community. We love giving back to the community. And this is kind of our first big effort to give back. And I'm really excited to see how tomorrow goes. So that way we can keep doing this more. So if you have canned food items, come and say hi. We're going to have the big truck out there from the Galveston County Food Bank, and we're going to fill that thing to the top.
That's what's up. I see Cool Cow Creamery is on our stream as well. Jennifer, one of the owners of Cool Cow, so they have a box as well. She said, hey, they're offering 10% off at Cool Cow if you bring in canned goods for the food drive. So they have a box there. Go get some ice cream that is, I would say it's great. It's delicious ice cream. We dropped a video this morning. You can see for yourself, and then you can go taste for yourself with the can of food, of course. You need a can of food.
I mean, I like how these places are trying to get these canned food items. It's really cool. I think at Furniture Zone, if you bring in, you get an extra entry into the $500
for every can
gift card for every can.
Yeah, Furniture Zone, they do this thing where every month they do a drawing. So it's like this big old wheel. You can put your name in there. They give away a $500 gift card every month. If you bring in a can of food, you can get an extra name in that drawing. I think they said you can bring like 10. You can bring 10, up to 10, and they'll let you put your name in there 10 extra times. You could do that every day. You could have been doing this every day and had your name in there like, I don't know. I'm no good at math. I'm not a mathematician, okay, guys? But I'm thinking if there was 30, I don't know. Anyways, shout out to all the places that are partnering with us and helping us fill up the Galveston County Food Bank this November.
I'm really excited about this. This has kind of been our first jump into this, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. So we have a couple guests coming in. We're going to have a good show today. Right now it's 8:45. This is KHEA Radio. It's Kickstart. You're listening on 99.5 FM, or you can stream us from anywhere in the world at khearadio.com. I'm super excited about the show today. You know, our first guest that we're going to have on, I learned about her and what she does through our good friend Chevy, who comes up. He cuts Curt's hair unless Curt cheats on him with John the Baptized Barber, which did happen, but that's not that important. But she has some cool stuff going on. She's spreading awareness and trying to make a difference in the community. So we're going to be talking about sex trafficking. We're going to be talking about the issues that are taking place even in our community that, you know, sometimes don't get enough awareness. And we want to make sure that anybody that's doing something positive, anybody that's doing something to try and make a difference, we want to spread their name out there, what they have going on, so that way people can help support them, or people can be shown a light, like, hey, this is what's going on in our world today. So right now it's 8:46. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11 a.m. today. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up next is Bethel. You can keep hanging out with me. Keep hanging out with us on our Facebook stream. Just search KHEA Radio on Facebook. Make sure you're liking KHEA Radio on Facebook. Stay tuned. Hey, and then in the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to have Sanctuary Gym in, and I think they have a Friendswood address. So whenever we went there, we dropped off that box, and they were super excited to fill it up. So let's see what kind of report they have for us. Maybe they collected some cans, collected some non-perishable items to drop in the food bank. So we're going to find out. I have a lot I want to say, but I need to make sure that Curt is in here and approves, because it's quite a bit about Curt. There he is. Don't you like Curt's outfit today?
It's good.
He said he's trying. he has a red hat, and sometimes I tell him, dude, you look like you're trying to make America great again.
That hat.
And so today,
go there.
So today, but it's not one of those. So then today he has this black one on. I said, you look like you're trying to make America something again. I'm not really sure with the black and white hat. And what did you say?
I said, I said MAPC. Make America PC.
Make America PC again. I guess. Politically correct, right?
Politically correct.
So hopefully everyone's doing good. It is Friday. We're going to have an awesome time this morning.
Did you see?
What?
Suave.
What's suave what?
Kurt's looking suave. I'm excited for that. Jennifer did.
I think it's just suave.
Oh, I like the suave.
You had to put like a little thing over the E. And
the suave.
Kurt's French. I can see him being like,
okay, so what's wrong? We got the jacket.
Nothing's wrong.
We got the polo. We got the Del Tigre boots.
Okay.
We got the hat.
Yeah.
The hat's just to cover the hair because I didn't do it this morning.
Did you wear the jacket because you're like, it's kind of cold outside?
Yeah, I walked outside and I'm like, I should go get a sweatshirt. And I was like, I don't know where I have a sweatshirt.
And so you just got your
I do know where my sports coat is. Let's put that on for the day.
Well, he did. He was here whenever I got here, and which is rare. But either way, I'm happy. So I saw him walk in, and he was here, and I was like, "What do you have going on today?" Because this is like you're going to court apparel today. This is like what you would wear to court.
The best part about this outfit, I have to say, and you're gonna yell at me for this. You ready? The white tube socks.
I don't mind if you wear white tube socks.
The white tube socks.
Because if you have a boot and it covers the ankle, then most likely your socks won't be shown.
Yeah. Sometimes I do like wearing the ankle socks with these boots, like the black ankle socks, like they're below the ankle. I don't know. They just it feels cool to look down and be like, am I wearing socks? Am I not wearing socks?
Crystal, no, that's a great question. She said, wow, Curt was early. And then she said, was Gardy late? The answer is no.
Yeah.
I was not late.
You were a little late.
No, I was sitting in my car because I was like, well, Kurt's not here anyways. But since it's supposed to rain this afternoon, I parked over here under an awning. And I was just pretty much just scrolling Facebook, playing on my phone, responding to some emails, doing a little bit of Skyping. I was out there for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, well, I better get in there.
You're kind of lucky that I was in first because you parked over there. And I was the first one in the building this morning, so I had to deactivate the alarm.
I do that all the time.
But there's none over there.
Is there not?
No, you would have to run all the way over to the other side.
I would just let it go. You know what I would do?
I don't know if there is one over there. I shouldn't.
Yeah, there is one to the left as you walk in. What I would have done if there isn't one, the alarm starts beeping. I'm like, nope, boop. I just close the door, get in my car, and drive away. I'll let somebody else handle it. So Jennifer said she's dropping off those gift cards for that Cool Cow Creamery.
She's not going to get you any. She said, Curt, bring Curt some ice cream.
I see that. Thanks, Jennifer. Nobody remembers me. I think it's because, and I was asking Curt this morning, I was like, Curt, do you think you're a little bit of a narcissist? And he was like, what's a narcissist? And I said, would you like for me to read in the definition?
Can we get the definitions again?
But I had to read the definition to him like 4 times because he kept like looking at himself in the mirror and his outfit. And like, he was like, oh, I look good today. And I was like,
very suave.
I was like, do you not hear? So anyway, hey, Alicia's here.
Hey, check. She doesn't get a 0 for the day.
Thank you, Alicia. The office is closed.
I saw Scott shared it.
Thank you, Scott.
So Scott gets, pass it for the day.
Scott would get a pass anyways. He has some passes saved up.
He does. I need more than a pint, Jennifer. I need like a gallon to take down in the show. A gallon. Am I the only one who does that? Like where I get gallon ice cream and it's gone in a day? Am I the only one?
No, I feel like other people may do that too, but they may have a family or like a birthday party going on or something.
Not eating it by themselves.
Yeah, something like that.
Dang.
What's up, Jennifer Fuller? Hey, everybody. So we have something going on tomorrow morning at Moore Memorial Public Library in Texas City. We are going to be out there, rain or shine, hopefully shine, hanging out in the front of the library. We have some volunteers. We're going to be collecting some canned goods. So if people want to come and drop some off, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. Either way, we'll be out there. And we have some businesses that we've partnered up with.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Everyone's saying good morning. I like Mercy's comment. She said, good morning, sunshines. Even on a rainy, gloomy day, have a blessed and fabulous day and weekend.
I appreciate that.
Jennifer said we had someone request a custom gallon and send us a pic of him eating it straight from the cart. It wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me. It might have been me. See, I told them when they came in that day, I said, you guys need to have a better challenge than just eating ice cream because I feel like I could take down any ice cream eating challenge.
Okay.
You know who I saw last night?
Chevy.
No, Steven from Rolling Republic.
Okay.
And just brought up
Where
again at Gringos.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
you also saw Nunzio at Gringos.
I saw Nunzio at Gringos as well.
Did you see anybody else at Gringos? Because I need to know these things.
Do you remember the person that I almost went vegan for? She was there.
What was she eating? Cheese?
She was serving, I guess.
Oh, she works there? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so...
Hey, last time I went to Gringos, I went with Pastor Josh and like the music people.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring our change. It was like the bill. So whenever you have a table that's like big, they'll usually add the tip on there.
Yeah.
15% or 18%, whatever it was. We had a group of like 12, right? So they added the tip on there. And then I think the total was like $176, right?
Right.
And so Josh had paid for it all. He had to leave. So he left us $200, $176 with the tip like added in there mathematically. And then, so we gave her $200. She's like, I'll be back with the change. And then like she was a ghost. She ghosted us. Like,
That's
gone.
how I would do it. I would just get up and leave.
It's like, all right, well, I gotta go. And it was like, all right, cool. Well, dang, you got yourself, like a 30%, tip there. But it's just money, at the end of the day. Like, I felt bad because it wasn't my money. Like, if it was my money, but Josh had left it. And so I brought him the receipt and I was like, hey, that she went ghost on us, dude. And then we had asked her for some other things. So she came back and like, oh, here's your to go. And then it was like, did she ever bring back the thing to anybody? But anyways, thanks, Gringos. Keep going.
And so I said, we're planning to do the Red Oak Cafe pancake challenge. And so we were talking about that. And then Jennifer just said, we have a challenge, a scoop of all 12 flavors, one each of our sandwiches, and 2 slices of ice cream pie with waffle cones on top, bananas, and lots of hot fudge. I can do that all day. Like, that's all day for me, ice cream wise.
So I think you could do it. I don't know. If it was ice cream, maybe straight. But hey, Solian said Gringos, Papacitos, and Jimmy Changas are a no for her. I think they're good. And if I had to rate them, well, first of all, Gringos and Jimmy Changas, well, they're the same owner, and it's to me, it's like, hey, you can tell it's like the same food. I'm sure they use the same ingredients. Probably the same cook or chef was like designing the entrees. But Papacitos, I enjoy Papacitos. So there's different. Okay, whenever you look at restaurants, especially Mexican food, there's like what I'd call like affordable or cheap. Hey, this is a bang for your buck. You're gonna go spend like $6, like with tax included,
right?
And the food is gonna be good for it being like a $5 plate, and it's like, man. Then you have places like Lupe Tortilla where you're gonna pay a little bit more, and I would compare Papacitos like in there as well. And then you have like your authentic, and then you have specialized Tex-Mex. If you want enchiladas, go here. If you want this, so it's
Taco John's,
right. If you're gonna be like, hey, Taco John's or Taco Bell, from what I hear, people say, oh yeah, I want the Taco John's, or like Taco Cabana or Taco Bell. I want Taco Cabana.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, there's all these different tiers. We need to get with Jennifer and like work on a spreadsheet.
We should do a spreadsheet in general for like a rating system. I think I saw Bentley does that. Like, they'll go out to a restaurant and they'll have a rating system for each restaurant. We should do that for ours.
The KHEA rating.
The KHEA rating.
I would feel bad giving someone a not nice rating though, wouldn't you?
I feel like there would have to be like good, great, better, like
no, yeah,
like, okay, like nothing worse than okay, so we don't,
or if you don't like
anybody,
then it's like, hey, we just don't rate you, you don't get the KHEA rating.
We should do like the 5-star, like the KHEA 5-star award.
Is that because you saw Pierogi Queen got the Houston Chronicle like
5-star? Yeah, or something.
Well, they did. They got actual thing. So yeah, shout out to them.
We should do that. We should do like a KHEA 5 stars.
People would be like, "Oh, thanks." Like, thanks.
Who are you?
Trust me,
you guys?
You know what we'd have to do is just start hanging it on people's walls.
Yeah,
like
bring our own hammer and nail. We're like, hey, we got you this award. Do you want us to hang it?
I already have a plan. Curt, you'll be in the hot dog costume, right? And I'm literally like, just go to the middle of the restaurant and like trip over the waiter and start dancing. So you like pushing the waiter, start dancing, and I have like hammers, ding 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 ding. I'm like, oh, clear.
It's
and then you just
like a
roll
dine
out.
And dash.
You don't get up. You just roll out the door. Like, and we're gone. If we work on this, we can get our time down to like, I don't know, 2 minutes. Just enough.
Jimmy Changas or Jimmy Chongas? Like Jenga.
Dang, is there 2?
No, there's just trying to debate. What is it? Jimmy Changas or Jimmy Chongas?
I think it's Changas. Jimmy Changas.
I like Jimmy Chonga. Chonga.
Well, you know what? Maybe Chongas because it's like a chimichanga.
Yeah, see, that's maybe what it. And chimichangas are like Butterfingers, but like
what?
Right?
What? Say it again.
Chimichangas are like those little Butterfinger things, right?
What are you
Hispanic,
thinking?
like they have like they're like peanut butter candies.
No, Curt, it's like a burrito.
Oh,
yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so what are those little Butterfinger tasting things? Aren't those
candy?
Yeah, it's candy.
I don't know. I don't know what candy.
But it's like a chonga or something like that.
Thinking of a chonkla.
No, that's
Sometimes I wish your mom would have popped you with the chongla. A chongla is a little bit.
no,
Kurt, take
but
it
they're
off,
they're
pop,
little. I don't remember the name of them. I used to have them when we were young. They were at the local gas station. They were
Somebody help me.
little Butterfinger things.
Send help. I just had to bring our
Chico
guest in.
sticks. That's what they were. Chico
Okay,
sticks.
Chico stick. Thank
That's
you,
what I was
Jennifer.
thinking of. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, a chimichanga.
Chimichanga. I don't know why I thought that's what those were called. Oh, is it 9 o'clock yet? Can we bring in a guest?
Oh man, we got 20 seconds and it can't come fast enough.
Chico sticks.
Does anybody remember that song where they referenced the Chico stick?
I don't.
No,
Chico sticks.
it's
Those
probably
were
good.
delicious. I'm walking away. Bye, guys.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. What's y'all's favorite Mexican food restaurant? We need to do some more Mexican food around here. My wife made tacos last night. Hello. Gardy, how you doing?
Hi, Stephanie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
But let me grab my phone and my cough drop.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Stephanie, what's your last name?
Clausen,
Stephanie
CLAWSON.
I wonder after my last statement if Jennifer wants to take back the suave statement.
Suave. Somebody said Kurt looks suave, and he was like, "Ooh, I look suave." I was like, "I think that's just suave."
Suave.
Cool.
That's us.
Can we do a poll? So what do you think? Is it Jimmy Changas or Jimmy Changas?
You know the restaurant
I'm saying Chonga.
Chongas.
Chonga.
Yes.
That's what
Almost
I say
like
too.
Chonkless.
Chonga.
Jimmy Chonkless. It's like
Isn't that shoe?
that is shoe.
It's like a
Jimmy's
sandal.
shoes?
It's a very specific shoe. It is a chancla. I say Kurt's mom should have maybe
Man, I gotta do
introduced him to the chancla a little bit earlier. It'd make all of our lives a little bit easier. Just kidding, kind of. So Stephanie,
Yes.
I believe we got hooked up with you through Chevy, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay,
Mutual
cool.
friends.
That's awesome.
Oh, this is going to be another Chevy show.
Chevy's awesome. Chevy knows a little bit of everybody.
Of everything from every neck of the woods. Yeah. He's
So
awesome.
Chevy, he was cutting Kurt's hair, but then there's like a thing where if you get your hair cut by somebody, it's called like cheating on your barber. If you go to
I watched it.
Oh, you watched it?
I watched it.
But-
it was guilt ridden, but it's okay.
Man, I felt so bad. I was like, please don't post this, Gardy. And Gardy's like, well, we're live on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It was great. It was
hey,
great.
But-
Chevy.
We met John the Baptized Barber. We didn't even know. And we are like, so where did the name come from? And because I could assume, but you don't know. So
Right.
he was like, well, I got baptized this year, this and that. I was like, man, that's a really cool story. Like, we got to meet him. And Chevy, he knows Chevy. So, because of course, Chevy knows a little bit of everybody. Why wouldn't he know Chevy?
I don't know. Yeah, he knows everybody.
We had the mayor of Santa Fe in and
They're best friends.
yesterday.
I think they were raised next to each other.
Yeah, on the
down the
same
street.
incident that
Yeah.
took place.
Well,
Yeah.
Jason's a couple years older than Chevy, and I know Chevy now, and I can't imagine Chevy as a kid. So, there were some stories.
He's a lovely man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yes.
He's awesome. So, okay, is this your husband?
It is.
Curt.
That's my husband, Curt. He's fantastic. Unfortunately, couldn't be with us this morning,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a wonderful man.
So Kurt sometimes gets called Kirk.
And
Actually,
it's the same.
Was it Jesse Duplantis called you Kirk?
No, it was
Marcos
Witt. And I
From
got
the
it like
South.
all day. Like I still get text messages like, "Oh, your name is Kirk."
So Darren yesterday said, "Hey," on our stream or something yesterday. He said, "Hey, Kurt's new name is Kirk."
He gets Curt
So
because
sad.
of his last name, because the double
Claw.
K, like Curt Clausen.
Kurt.
So people say
Kurt
Curt.
Claw. Kurt
So
Claw.
then he's like, no, it's like Captain. So then now people call him
Captain Kurt.
Captain Curt.
People always ask me, "Is it like Captain?" I'm like, "You can call me Captain,
Yeah,
but it's Kurt."
it is. It happens.
Ah, see, there it goes again. There it goes again. Kirk.
Man. So what area are you originally from?
Well, I was born and raised in Idaho and then moved down here when I was 16 with my parents. And so we lived in Texas City.
Cool.
So I graduated Texas City High School and then just kind of stayed in this area. Then we got into ministry and then kind of traveled the globe.
Cool.
Really.
If you don't mind me asking, what year did you graduate?
96.
Okay, cool.
Great. You just aged me. Thank you.
Come on, Gardy.
I graduated early. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. I
very
graduated
smart.
when I was 14. No, I didn't.
Cool.
But-
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Stephanie Clausen here. And so you have an organization. I guess you've been a missionary and you've done some other things as well. Can you kind of share just a little bit before we go on the FM? We have like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Just so we can hear a little bit about everything you have going on.
Yeah. So we're missionaries and we've done work in Niger, Tanzania, Honduras, Thailand. Let me see where else. I feel like I'm missing some place. Belize. So we actually did live in Belize for about 3 months at the end of 2015.
Okay.
And that's kind of where our calling to mission started. So we went on our first mission trip in 2011 thinking we're good people, right? We love Jesus and we're just going to go and see what it's about. And we went and the Lord just wrecked us. And we realized that our calling was to the nations, calling to kind of just saying, here I am, send us wherever. And then we went to Belize. We made 4 trips before we spent that 3 months at the end of 2015. And so we love it. We love missions and we love the heart of missions, what it's about, furthering the kingdom, bringing people, lost souls.
That's
into
cool.
The kingdom. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's what we do.
That's very good. So we got 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then we're going to go on the FM as well.
Perfect.
We'll introduce you and go.
Do I have to put these awesome headphones on?
You can.
It helps to hear our voices.
Helps.
a little bit.
I'm
Yeah.
nervous.
We still got some time. Well, like 15 seconds. What's up, Brian? Hey, did you see the video Kurt was shared with Brian's with
Brian's.
Yeah,
it was
Brian's son.
3. Mark.
Good morning. It's 9:06. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And we have a special guest in studio. We have Stephanie Clausen. Stephanie, how's it going today?
Hey, it's good. It's going good. Good morning.
Good. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So we got introduced to you through our good friend Chevy, who kind of knows a little bit of everything and everybody. And yesterday we had the mayor of Santa Fe, Texas in, and of course they have some stories and they grew up on the same street and all that as well. So how did you end up meeting Chevy?
Oh, wow. I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago, my husband and I were youth pastors at our parents' church in Texas City, Bridge of Hope.
Okay.
And we wanted to do this great youth event. And, how can we get youth to come in and really engage with the Lord? And somehow, actually, Chevy was a waiter at Casa Ole.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kind of drummed up a conversation. And he said, this is what I do. I have these youth that come in and play music. We'll come and just play and see what happens. And he showed up with this amazing group of youth. And man, it was an amazing night. We just had a fantastic time.
That's cool.
And then the relationship just kind of, I don't know.
It goes from there.
Oh yeah. Well, with him, yeah, it kind of goes.
Cool. So Stephanie and your husband's name is Kirk.
Yes.
And we were talking a little bit about what you have going on. And so it looks like you've been pretty busy. You've been everywhere, all over the world, literally all over the world. Can you kind of share, I guess, what your calling is and where all you've been and what you have going on?
Yeah, definitely. Well, our calling is to the nations. And so we just really believe in the mission of furthering the kingdom and bringing hope to the hopeless. And we went on our first mission trip in 2011 and just had a fantastic time. The Lord just totally altered our DNA for understanding what the mission was and how to further it. And so we found ourselves then serving in Honduras. We went to Belize on 5 different trips. We've served in Tanzania, Niger, Thailand. And so we've kind of moved around a little bit, but just had an extraordinary time working alongside fantastic missionaries that have just sold their lives out to the Lord. Wow. And then we found ourselves here in Houston working alongside 2 major anti-trafficking organizations, Elijah Rising and Rescue Houston. And we worked under them for a good 2.5 years to kind of learn the landscape of anti-trafficking. And the Lord just really developed some great stuff in our hearts about how to how to collectively work with other organizations who are doing the same thing. Like, we don't need another anti-trafficking organization. How can we take the ones that are already in existence and highlight them, get them volunteers, get them a good donor base, and get them the needs that they have to keep doing the work that they're doing. And here in Galveston County, the need is just as great in Houston, even though Houston, unfortunately, is the #1 hub for trafficking. And
why is that? Is that just the location where we're at? Or?
It is. We're really close to the border of Mexico, so you have a lot of trafficking across the border. Houston sits in the middle of the I-10 corridor, so you have trafficking from East Coast to West Coast. And Houston is one of the most diverse cities. And so when you walk down the street of Houston, or you go to restaurants, or you go to events, it's very easy to see many different nationalities of people, and it doesn't strike you as being odd.
Right.
And so it's very easy for women who have been trafficked internationally or even domestically to just blend in. And right now, Houston has, I think, the Houston Chronicle came out a couple months ago saying they actually have more illicit massage parlors than they have Starbucks. So there's about 300 illicit massage parlors in Houston, but Galveston County also has up close to about 20 illicit massage parlors here in Galveston County that most people don't even know about. And so there's amazing organizations that are out there making an impact, and the Lord just asked us just to serve them and to walk alongside them and highlight them. And
so I've seen some stuff like pop up on social media where, and you always need to be aware of your surroundings, but we're members of like League City Talks, and there's like all these talk groups and Talk of Alvin and all that stuff. And so there's stories and people will share like, hey, I was at the grocery store and, there was somebody following me, and is that instances of people potentially trying to be like kidnapped? I mean, and put into like a trafficking?
Sure. Well, I think Hollywood, unfortunately, has kind of made this, I don't want to say unrealistic, because yes, does kidnappings happen? And of course that happens, but a lot of the trafficking occurs online. So now we have this huge social media platforms of Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and Facebook and all these places. And you have 11-year-olds and 12 and 13-year-olds that have all these accounts. And what's happening is the traffickers are smart people. I mean, it's a criminal enterprise. They're not dumb. It's not a multi-billion-dollar industry because unintelligent people are running it.
Right.
And so what's happening now is there's this grooming process that takes place on social media to where they befriend the young person. Sometimes it's in youth groups. And I know people go, no, that can't be true. But man, when you're talking about being able to make millions of dollars and billions of dollars, they have people that go in. And I'm not saying don't send your kids a youth group, but it's one of these things where we have to be aware as parents. We need to be very aware of what is going on your kids' social media. Who are their friends? Why is my 14-year-old friends with a 25-year-old? Right? That just, like I tell my kids, if you've never met them in person, you shouldn't be friends with them on social media. And I think just as parents, we need to kind of step up our game. We really need to be aware of what's going on, where our kids are, and just who they're talking to and where they're at. So,
Wow.
One of the things that we were talking about, illicit massage parlors or anything like that in our area. One of the things, I was talking to somebody who actually puts on a fashion show for trafficking. They were like, it's really hard for police to go into these places to put a stop to it. Is that true?
It is very true, because what happens is they're a very legit storefront, and like, if me and my mom wanted a massage, let's say, we would go in and we would get an hour massage for $60, whatever, have a lovely time and leave. But if a couple gentlemen went in to get a massage, there's certain lingo that they could use, and their services would be very different. But they have a permit to operate. They don't cause a nuisance in our community. So it's very difficult to we can't just kick down the door and be like, we don't want you open. So a lot of what we do, we're partnered with an amazing organization called Providence Outreach Ministries. And she's been in the Galveston area doing lots of ministry to the massage parlors. And she simply goes in and just loves on the women. And she's had women come asked to be baptized. She's had women. I mean, it's just been beautiful. But I think that's really the heart of Jesus, is we don't go in and cause a ruckus, but we go in and we love on people and we let them know, like, what is going on with you now. You don't have to this doesn't have to be your life, and there's other options. And that's a lot of what our ministry is, because we've done ministry on the street level, where we've met women who are being prostituted on the street. We've gone and done strip club ministry, and a lot of people say she simply chooses it, right? And it's easy for us to look at that and say, yeah, perhaps that is a choice, but really it's a choice made out of a lack of choice. And so when you start thinking about that and you go, well, maybe she's at a strip club and she's working at a strip club, but maybe she has addiction, or maybe she has a mom that it has cancer and has to have all this surgery, or maybe simply she's had abuse in her past and her self-worth and her worthiness is so low that she believes that's all she's able to do. And that's a lot of the stories that we find when we talk to the women on the street or in the clubs. And so it's just going in and kind of switching their train of thought and saying, like, no, you are worthy and you do have worth, and you don't have to choose, quote unquote, this, but there are other options. And so we have resources to plug them into. And we work with Lighthouse Christian Ministries and Bay Cliff, and man, they have so many resources. It's fantastic. I can't even go down the list. And so it's just really wonderful to have options to be able to take women that have just severe brokenness and plug them into the community and love on them.
That's cool. Yeah. And it's very necessary, because you always hear, like whether it's the news or social media saying like, hey, Houston has a trafficking problem. And it's like, okay, well, I've lived in this area my whole life, and I don't, if I've seen something, I don't know, right. And you just don't know necessarily what to look for. Like, I didn't know most of it takes place online. Yeah. That with social media and the rise, it can be a great tool, but I guess it can be a great tool for the wrong people as well.
Absolutely.
Just as much as it is for, us spreading something positive. So yeah, I guess part of it is just knowing, like, and then informing your kids, like you mentioned, and just having those conversations where, hey, if you don't know that person, you don't know them. Yeah.
I think Crystal Kozis is there. I love that you choose to love on these ladies versus criticize them. And I think, here at Abundant Life Christian Center, KHEA Radio is partnered with Abundant Life Christian Center. We actually have a billboard that has stood up for the test of time above Heartbreakers. Yeah. And it says, Jesus heals the brokenhearted.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest, I guess the situation is that, yeah, God can heal you, in this situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody's going through something. Even your life can look like it's perfect, but it's not necessarily, what's on the outside, what's on the inside. You can't see somebody's heart, and that's kind of like, hey, yeah, if your heart's broken, there is an answer to every question, every need that you have. And that is, it's not, you're not going to find it here, Well,
I think if we just do all things in love, right? And I know that sounds very basic, and we're not like tree hugging hippies here. And I don't even believe Jesus is that way, but everything that we have to do is in love, and people respond so much differently than being aggressive or picketing, or, yes, do those things have a place? Sure. But when you're really talking about wanting to reach the brokenhearted and truly want to see restoration come to people that have had just horrendous past, you have to do it in love. And through that love, I think that's when you allow Jesus to come in and just really transform people's lives.
Good morning. You're listening to KHEARadio.com and 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11 a.m. Right now, we're talking to Stephanie Clausen. She is a missionary, and she is associated and works with some organizations and nonprofits in our area that are putting awareness and trying to help some people in our area. But, something else I want to talk about, you had mentioned all of the places that you had, had either went and visited or lived there for a bit and done some work. Can you share a little bit about your experience in Thailand?
Yes, actually, that was just this past March. And so, I've seen a lot of documentaries on trafficking internationally. So I've worked here domestically, and you see the documentaries and you're so moved by it. And you're like, wow, this is crazy. But I really wanted to put my own eyes on it. So we are missionaries under a sending organization called Go To Nations, and they have a lot of missionaries in Chiang Rai, Thailand. And so I had the opportunity to go there and just kind of walk alongside them and see what are they doing. So we went out a couple nights so in Thailand, it's so much different than it is here because it's very out in the open and it's not as hidden as it is here domestically. And there was just bars set up to where men can come in and play pool with women, and then you leave with that woman. And so we went to the bars and we just talked with the women, and I got to really put my eyes on the landscape of how very different it is, but how very acceptable. And it was just so much out in the open. And so it was just a different brokenness that I felt at that time, that it was just kind of like the decay of society was becoming acceptable at this point. And then we went to some massage parlors, and it was just interesting to see how they get the men to come in. What are the conversations like? How does all of this take place? I mean, the country is beautiful. All the people are amazing, and they're so kind and so serving. But then a lot, unfortunately, Westerners go over and take advantage of the vulnerabilities of an impoverished nation. And so a lot of the families out in the village, so that live outside of the larger cities, sell their children to traffickers.
Wow.
Because yes. And so what happens is a lot of the families, if you give birth to a female, it's often said, well, don't worry, if you ever come into any kind of financial woes in the future, you can always sell your daughter. And they sell them at 5-year-old, 6, 7, 8 and up. And so you kind of go, how does that even work? What is this? But it's been going on for hundreds of years, or I don't want to say hundreds, but it's been going on for a long time. And so like in our brains, we say that doesn't even make sense because I have a daughter, right? She's 15. I could think like, oh my gosh, I could never like sell her, but it's socially acceptable, and it's kind of culturally and generational. And so it was really sad to see that, like I said, that decay just kind of normalized.
Yeah, it's okay over there for some reason.
Yeah.
Did you have was it hard to be over there? Like, were you ever concerned, or was it just kind of like, oh, it's another Westerner trying to come in here? And
Sure. And so we have done so much ministry in so many crazy places. And, when you're on the street, even here in Houston, and you're talking to prostituted women, and then you have a pimp, approach you, or you have drug dealers approach you, you're just kind of like, hey, how's it going? Right. We do everything in love. And I'm never fearful, and not that I don't think about my safety, or I don't take it into concern. And I told my mom one time, and I know she's listening. Hi, Mom. And I just told her, I was like, Mom, I'm not kidnappable. And she was like, what does that even mean? I'm like, look, I'm a bit abrasive. And so if anyone tries to grab me, Mom, they're not going to want me. I talk too much. They're going to be like, get this lady out of here. I'm older than, the average person in the trafficking world. So I'm like, Mom, look, I'll be safe. I'm not even kidnappable. Don't even worry. I'm outside of that. But, I laughed. She did not. And, but we just have to understand that if we really truly want to bring the light of the Lord, like, this is a bright place in here, right? So he really requires us, or asks of us, to bring the light into the dark places. And so who's going to do that, right? Isaiah says, hey, here I am, send me. And I think if you truly have that in your heart, you kind of walk in a freedom that the Lord gives you to go into those dark places. Now, I have walked out of places going like, I can't believe I was just in there. Mm-hmm. Or, wow, okay. But man, the Lord just equips you in a way that when you say yes. Now, yes can be kind of scary when you say yes to the Lord, but man, when you say yes, it just gives a freedom that you've never felt before, and the Lord will equip you.
Wow. Right now, we're talking to Stephanie Clausen. She is a missionary. So you're originally from Idaho. You said you moved down here whenever you were 16 years old.
Yes.
And what brought you down here with your family?
Yeah, so my dad got a job working for the government. So he's a substance abuse counselor, and he got a job working at a men's center in Texas City. And he's originally from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Mm-hmm. And he just my parents came down here, really prayed about it. My dad is an ordained minister under Church on the Rock out of Fort Worth. And his heart is very similar of, right, the mission and expanding the kingdom. And the Lord had given him a great word back, I think it's like 1983, that revival was going to come to the Gulf Coast. And I think he really wanted to see that happen. And so they really prayed about it, moved us down here. I think there was 6 of us, 6 kids and a dog. And we moved down here, and they opened a church, and their heart is to reach the lost and the brokenhearted as well. And so it was just very easy to mimic that love that they have for people. And so I think that's, and then I met my husband, and he's great. And
is he local? Is he from here?
He is.
Originally?
He's from Lamarck. So
Awesome.
he's from here. And my parents gave us an opportunity to be youth pastors. And we did that for about almost 4 years, and then started into this walk of missions. And so it's just neat to see how the Lord just kind of built one thing on the other. And it's great to see, hopefully, that I get to play that part in my dad's vision of seeing that revival come to the Gulf Coast. And so I'm really excited about that.
One of our pastors here, Josh Rudolph, he is the associate pastor. He's originally from Idaho and moved here, I guess, like in 02 or 03 or something like that. And I forget, but he said the town that he was from is like tiny, a small town. So I'm not familiar, but when I think of Idaho, I always hear the stories he told, like, oh, there was like 1,000 people in my town, or something like that. And do you know where Josh, like what the name of the city was?
Not off the top of my head.
He's a big Boise. Is it Boise State? Like
Boise
the football team? Like that's what he's all about, Boise State. And
one of my older brothers lives in Boise with his wife and family, but I'm from northern Idaho. And so I was born in Coeur d'Alene. And then I was raised in Rathdrum, which I have that same story of like there's only 2,000 people. And growing up, we didn't even have restaurants in our town. We had like a pizza you bake where you went and picked up the pizza and then took it home and baked it. And I don't even think we had a traffic light growing up, but they have traffic lights there now. But it was a small town. We lived on a farm. My parents owned a butcher shop. And so we lived kind of that farm life. It was great.
That's cool. You may be from the same town as Pastor Josh. I don't know.
Maybe.
But hey, butcher shops, that sounds like it would be fun. And, when we were talking Santa Fe yesterday, we were talking about, there's a local butcher shop there. And then a lot of people have straight up cattle, horses, and they, chickens. And to me, it's like random, but it's cool. Like our cities are so close and like interweaved where like, if you want to go in Santa Fe, you can literally have a farm. If you want to live in Lamarck, you live in Lamarck, League City, Clear Lake. Yeah. It's a little bit of everything. Galveston, the beach, Kemah,
It's, I mean, I really love this area. It's a really beautiful area, and you can kind of get a lot of, city
a little bit of everything.
Country. Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Okay. Right now it's 9:25. This is KHEAradio.com 99.5 FM. Curt wants to take a look at the weather, and I think that's a good idea because it looks like it may rain. And I need to know what the weather's looking like tomorrow. Today's my son's birthday. Happy birthday, Kellen. He's 6 years old. And I said this yesterday. I can't believe I have a 6-year-old. I don't even look like I'm 6 myself. Doesn't even make sense. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is the KHEA Radio Kickstart Weather Center, brought to you by Texas Chronicles, History, Mystery, and Adventure with Curtsy, the Corn, Casper.
It's currently 58 degrees right now in Lamarck, Texas. It's going to be windy at times, a high of 59 degrees right now. Winds northeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Chance of rain right now is 90%. It's going to be mostly this afternoon. Your sunset tonight is at 5:28. Tomorrow, 56.
Is it going to rain tomorrow?
Slight chance of rain and showers.
Ooh, coming up next is Torrin Wells. We're going to take a quick break. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.
I'm going to get used to this new app. We used to just use the weather, like Siri weather.
We used to do that. Yeah.
But now we're trying to like expand a little bit.
No, it's good. It's good. I love it. This is a beautiful campus. Abundant Life is a beautiful campus.
Have you been to a service?
I haven't been to a service. I came to an event that you guys had, but this was so long ago. Who was even here? Stone. What's his first name?
Perry Stone?
Perry Stone.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a phenomenal speaker to begin with, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been.
He wasn't here a lot. He was in 2016.
Oh no, I'm talking like 10 plus years, maybe more.
Perry Stone. The last time Perry Stone was here, it was crazy. It was the night before the election, so it was like it was Monday night. He was here on a Monday night right before the election. And he goes, everyone's predicting that Trump's not going to win. Watch. I saw a sign from God that Trump is going to be president.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's crazy.
It was so crazy. Like he had the numbers and everything like in the Bible that was saying like, this is how Trump's going to win. And I was like, what? No, like CNN and everyone.
He was saying it was like the trumpet or something like the Trump, some scripture in the Bible, and he had it connected around. Sometimes that stuff is like too deep for me. I'm like,
It is with me too. Cause like you hear it and your brain kind of goes, okay, like I'm understanding this. But then when you're trying to connect the dots of it, you're going, that I don't understand.
But at that point, it was like, the news, the media, everyone was still kind of like laughing at like, oh, wow.
I was shocked. I mean, don't get me
I was
wrong.
too, yeah.
I kind of went to bed thinking, all right, I guess I'll figure it out in the morning. And I woke up the next morning, and of course, there's like social media, and people are like, I'm moving out of the country. And so I thought, what is going on? Yeah, it was crazy. I was shocked.
I was still sleeping on that futon couch that I told you about that night. And I remember waking up next to my bed and at 2 o'clock in the morning, because I must have left it on my phone for somehow. And I just remember waking up.
Do you need help opening that?
I got it. It's open.
Okay, I got you.
But, yeah, it was crazy.
It's like that candy wrapper in church where it's like that real slow.
Just open it. Just open it, Kurt. Just go for it. Sometimes it's quick. It's like the Band-Aid,
Yes.
Just take it off real quick, or you can just like.
Well, I love what you guys are doing here. This is really great. Just
Thank
the
you.
opportunity to, go throughout the county and highlight what people are doing. And
We
I don't
love
know.
focusing. Have you heard about our canned food drive tomorrow?
No, I haven't.
We have a canned food drive tomorrow at Moore Memorial Public Library
Okay.
from 10 to 1. You can bring any non-perishable food items. We're teaming up with Chef's Tables Charity and then also Texas Chronicles. And so
Wow.
we're trying to fill up the Galveston County Food Bank.
Yeah, a bunch of businesses are working with us, and they let us put boxes in their places,
That's
and it's
awesome.
really fun. So we're
No,
trying
that's
to.
good. This is a good ministry. This is your guys' ministry. And this is just, it's good because there's a lot of great things going on throughout our county, but people don't know, not because they don't want to, but just because simply maybe they just don't have the bandwidth to understand everything that's going on. So you guys are bringing a lot of awareness to that.
Have you
That's
heard of that fashion show by chance?
Is it
was in
Laros?
Seabrook? I think so.
Yes. Was it a couple weeks ago?
I don't remember if it was a couple weeks ago. The one that I knew of, it was my friend Fawn.
I remember.
Fawn Dollins was the one who was kind of spearheading it. But they did one for that. It was a fashion show. It's just like, we're going to raise some awareness and use it as a fashion show. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
a
awesome.
really cool idea.
Hey, Crystal, she just asked where the food drive tomorrow is. That's at Moore Memorial Public Library. So it's a library in Texas City. It's right off Palmer. If you're heading into Texas City off Palmer, you just keep going. You're going to pass Jack in the Box, pass Alfie's Fish and Chips, and then past that light. And then Moore Memorial Public Library is on the right. Where Taqueria, that's on the left. And yeah, we'll be out there. We're supposed to have a truck, like a food bank truck out there. So that way you won't be able to miss it if someone's not familiar with Texas City. So you can bring some canned food items or anything that's non-perishable. We'll be out there starting at 10 a.m. Collecting all that. There's some people who are volunteering, and it's going to be fun. So
Yes,
we're
I'm
excited to do
excited.
that.
I know we have some great stuff coming up. I like type stuff out. So
I like it, and I like that it's big. I was like, I could even read that. Whenever I saw that, I was like, yeah, I could read that.
because you never want to be someplace and be like,
I could set you up with the question. Be like, so I have a question. I prepared.
and I even highlighted things that I want to make sure that I hit because
love it.
we're just working alongside amazing organizations here, and we have an event
Mhm.
that's coming up, and I was really nervous about the event because okay, I am not an event coordinator. And
Mhm.
so my type of personality, if you've ever taken like the DISC personality test, as DISC, so do it. It's amazing. You kind
I
of
need to write this down.
find out a lot about and how you work with people. So see, I would
Okay.
say both of you need to take it because then it kind of tells you like who you relate best to, who your personality kind of conflicts a little bit with, but then how to work alongside other people.
We need that.
Oh, it's fantastic. So I'm a D, and
Okay.
so D is kind of unfortunately a little bit more dominating personality, and but I was paired with my amazing husband who has the opposite personality of me. He's very caring and very purposeful, and I'm kind of a little flighty, and I have big visions. And a part of my personality though is I have big visions and I have like oh my gosh, all this
Mhm.
greatness. And then I don't want to say I have poor follow through because that makes me sound bad, but it's hard for me then to like put stuff together. So I have great friends around me that I can kind of dump these visions
Team
out.
up with.
Yeah. And them go, oh, that's not going to work. Or, oh yeah, let's do that. So we have this event that the Lord just put on my heart. And I thought, how can we take all these different domestic violence and anti-trafficking organizations that most people don't even know, are around here and highlight them because they need volunteers. There's a couple of these organizations that are working with like 5 volunteers. And they're getting it done every month. But how can we get them more volunteers? How can we get them a better donor base and get them the supplies that they need? And so January 24th, 2019, I just secured the location yesterday. I was so nervous. I was like, Jesus, please, because I want to go on the radio and be able to announce this, because it's a community event. So if we talk about, us three in this room say we care about our community, but maybe unknowingly, what we kind of forget is that our larger community is made up of families. So when our families are broke down and when there's brokenness in our families, therefore, unfortunately, our community is broken or could be unhealthy. And so this event is to bring awareness of what's going on in our community, how you can get plugged in, how you can volunteer for these organizations, how you can donate or invite them to your church to come speak, or to your women's groups or to your men's groups. So I'm excited about that, and excited/nervous, but I think it's going to go great. We have some great speakers. I have a young lady that we've been mentoring that came out of the life about 4 years ago. We've been mentoring her for 2.5 years. She was actually trafficked off of Galveston Island. And so I talked with her.
Taken from Galveston
Yeah.
Island?
Well, a lot of hers just kind of started kind of in a friend group kind of ordeal. And then she found herself in New York. And then she found herself being sold online.
What time? Not what time. How old was she?
Well, I mean, she just came out of the life 4 years ago, and she's 24. So I think this has been going on since she was in her late teens. And so, so she's going to come and speak. So we have a survivor to come and speak and just really bring a real awareness of what's going on in this county. Because a lot of people go, oh no, not Galveston County, right? I mean, we're a small community, but it's going on. And so this event, I'm excited about it. So, and it's going to be at College of the Mainland.
College of the Mainland. What was the date? One more time.
January 24th, 2019, from 6:30 to 8:30.
We'll have to bring you back and talk about the event.
Yeah, definitely. Or you guys can come and hang out. And
I just realized I was doing this personality test wrong. I was like, but this one or this one, thumbs up, thumbs down. But
it's difficult because when I took it, halfway through, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm a real jerk. Because some of these are, I'm like, do you agree more or less? I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this makes me sound terrible.
Yeah, you only pick one. I was like, I thought it was like, do I tend to do what I'm told? Like, yes or no? Like, yeah, I guess so. I like to be very neat and tidy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's only one or the other.
It is, but I love it because it really does kind of make you understand why you react to certain things, why you schedule things the way you do, or how you process stuff. So you guys need to take it, because then you'll kind of go, oh, this is why, or this is why.
Yeah.
So.
You know, something that that Chevy actually told me, he was like, I'm a very self-aware person, and I never he's like, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. And I was like, I wouldn't say I'm very self-aware, but I am self-aware enough where I was like, oh yeah, I know that. Curt, I don't think he's very self-aware.
Wait, what?
He's not aware at all, really. I guess not even just aware, not even self-aware,
not socially aware,
not just aware. Silverware, yeah. Not even anywhere, really. Tupperware, maybe. No, not even Tupperware.
Not even Tupperware. No, it is. I just love it, especially if you're in ministry and you work close to people. It really, because I've sat in a group of people where I thought, like, why did that person respond that way? Or why did that person ask that question? Or why didn't that person do something?
Yeah.
And then when you realize how different our personalities are, you kind of have this, or you sit in a room and go, oh, she's an S personality, or she's a C. And then I know a lot of people go, she's a D personality.
I've heard A, are you like an A personality type, or B? A, I guess, is like the outgoing one, or is it?
Yeah, kind of
and then B is kind of like not, or something.
Yeah, that one is kind of weird to me, because I think people can kind of teeter between the two, but the disc, that kind of even narrows it down to where, where's your strengths? And then it even tells you kind of the downside of your.
Look at Facebook. Chevy's on.
Oh no.
Oh, Mark Zuckerberg. Anytime we say somebody's name, they pop up.
I'm hiding from Chevy.
Dude, Chevy's gonna get you, man.
I'm hiding from him.
It's not. I think it's the fact that you were trying to hide it is what hurts the most. I
wasn't trying to hide it.
I'm hurting for Chevy.
You just put it out there.
You've been talking about heartbreak and some other stuff.
Oh.
I am hurting for Chevy right now.
Oh,
what's up, Chevy?
We were talking about heartbreak. Oh, when we were talking about me being a narcissist.
A little bit. Is that going to be on the? That's what we were talking about before the show started. I was like, hey, you're kind of a narcissist. And he's like, me?
No.
No.
Not
He's like,
at
what are you
all.
talking about?
Part was,
He's like,
he was
I
like,
look
you're a
good
narcissist
today.
only because I was talking about somebody else's, like, told me that they were hurting.
But he
I
was
said,
talking
"Oh,
about
it
how that
broke my
affects him,
heart."
how that affects him, like
I was
over
like,
and
"It
over
hurt
again."
my
And I'm
heart
like,
that they were hurting.
But
You're
every
all
time-
sorry you hurt, but I'm really like
I
my
hurt
heartbreak for
me.
you outweighs your
And
heartbreak.
they're like, "Oh,
okay?
that's true love," and I'm like, "Yeah."
someone was telling him that was love, and I was like, yeah, maybe love for your soul. Like, I don't know.
So maybe he
Maybe,
is self-aware.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Kingston
yeah.
just typed in broken heart emoji without the emoji.
They just typed the word emoji.
That's how brokenhearted he is.
Oh, he couldn't even find the right emoji.
You know, the best part from the whole haircut was John the Baptist was, or John the,
John the Baptist. What?
John the Baptist.
Hey, if John the Baptist
baptized
cut your
barber.
hair, then you know what? That's totally
That's
okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
I would have gotten a
It is.
haircut.
He was like,
Yeah.
maybe we should take a picture where like I'm holding the you know, like Chevy does. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
yes, do it.
Okay,
Did
that's
you?
a step too far. No.
Oh, Chevy, my heart breaks for you too. Oh, oh,
Oh, look,
that's wrong.
there's 2 Texas Chronicles back to back.
Oh, we can't have that.
Well, I did 2. We made the 2 spots so they were different. We can go on after this. So we got 26 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
We had
What's up,
two.
Taylor? Yeah, I made one spot where it was.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah, Taylor's on. We had Taylor on
Did
yesterday.
not send me a friend request yesterday.
Mystery and adventure.
Good morning. It's 9:39. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11 a.m. We're having a good time. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Kurt.
Kurt, you need some energy. Kurt, do you need a drink? Do you need a drink? I got a drink, man, if you just ask.
You said no.
Well, I changed my mind. I don't know. But we have a guest in studio. We have Stephanie hanging out with us today,
Good morning.
talking about a little bit of everything. You have a lot going on, Stephanie.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You do.
Actually, now that I think about it, yes, we
Yeah.
have a lot going on.
You want to share a bit about the event? I guess it's January 24th next year. What do you have going on?
Oh, I'm so excited. Part of what we were thinking is come here to Galveston County, unite these anti-trafficking and domestic violence organizations and ministries. Because if you sit in a group of people and you say, hey, did you know that there's like 9 or 10 anti-trafficking and domestic violence organizations in Galveston County? People go, no. So I thought, well, hey, what we need to do is have an event and just really highlight and serve the organizations and ministries that are already here working tirelessly. And they've been working here for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And so the event is to simply highlight them, help get volunteers, help them with their volunteer base, help them with their donor base and resources. So we're working alongside Providence Outreach Ministries and Rising Star Outreach that do strip club ministry in Galveston County, South Houston, Pasadena. Providence also, like I mentioned before, ministers to the illicit massage parlors here in Galveston County. Be the Light. Their focus is on mobilizing people through education, provide opportunities for them to engage in the anti-trafficking arena. Embrace Grace, which is an amazing ministry under the umbrella of Dominion Church out of Dickinson. They have Christ-centered classes for unwed mothers and assist them throughout their pregnancies. Then we have Freedom Ministries, who is currently working on building outreach efforts in the League-City-Webster area under the umbrella of Elijah Rising. So they'll be focusing a lot on hotel awareness, strip club outreach, and the massage parlors. Again, like I mentioned before, we're partnered also with Lighthouse Christian Ministries, who just serves a number of people throughout Galveston County. And it's just really, truly hard to narrow down the huge impact that they have in our community. We're also partnered and work alongside Resource Crisis Center and Unbound. And these ministries, they kind of work at the Texas state level to bring awareness to legislation that's going on in Texas. Because, we want to say, this injustice is going on, but what is Texas doing about it? And so they work at the Texas Senate or legislation part of it. So our event is for January 24th, 2019, and we just secured the location yesterday. So I'm very happy. It's going to be at College of the Mainland, and we're inviting local law enforcement, local politicians, obviously the organizations that I just mentioned, and the community at large, because we just want them to lay eyes on the ministries and organizations that are already doing it, and then have those opportunity to ask them questions, sign up to volunteer, or let's say you have a service that you can provide. Maybe you're a web designer, maybe you're a somebody and you have a heart to want to serve. And there's a lot of opportunities throughout all these organizations to plug yourself in and serve, or simply pray, right? So prayer is foundational in everything that we do. You need to know, like, if you can't pray if you don't know what to pray about.
Right.
So this community event is just slated just to say, hey, like, this is what's going on in our community. Here are the people that are making an impact. Plug yourself in. And we want our churches to be there too, right? And law enforcement. And the reason why we want law enforcement involved is so that they see that we honor them and we want to work alongside them and we want to help our community just as much as they do. And the same with our local politicians. I mean, we are the people who vote and we're the people that put them in office. And we want them to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we're impacting our community. How can we work with you? How can you work with us? So that's why it's called the collective event, because we're all working. If we truly say we love our community, we want a healthy community, it starts with healthy families. And so we have to get in, do some education and awareness about a lot of different things. And so what my husband and I, where our heart is, when we kind of came into this anti-trafficking landscape, our real heart kind of went out to the consumers. So the men purchasing the women, and a lot of people go, oh, that I could never pray for them. And that's just terrible what they do. But you have to understand there's brokenness. It's a supply and versus demand issue, right? So a lot of people are reaching the supply and they're loving on the women and reaching the women, but there wouldn't be a supply if there wasn't a push on the demand side. So when you look at it and you kind of step back and you say, okay, like, how can we love the men? Like, how can we love the men who are purchasing women? And that sounds so bizarre because it doesn't sound right. You just want to say, oh, that they have issues, they have problems, and I don't want to deal with them. But if you really want to see trafficking be eradicated and come to an end, you have to go to the demand and you have to go, like, where is this brokenness at?
Yeah.
How can we speak into it? And so
how can we stop it? How do, in your opinion, like, how do you, like, stop that? What do we do? I guess just continue loving on people, like, before
absolutely. Okay, love is great. I mean, love is amazing, but it's also educating people on like, a lot of people say, well, how is there a demand? Where is this this consumerism coming from? Where's this culture of consumerism coming from? And there's so much so much data out there to say, when it all comes down to it, pornography is really kind of the foundation of where a lot of brokenness and disconnect with relationships with people come from. And so when you talk about a man who's purchasing a woman on a street level, he didn't wake up that morning and go, I'm going to go purchase a woman. It started, if you kind of go down this rabbit hole or this trail of where his brokenness started at, a large part of it starts with viewing of pornography. So we partnered with an organization called Love People, Not Pixels, and they are amazing with bringing education and awareness on how pornography fuels the demand for trafficking. So if we really want to say we want to love on these consumers and we want to see freedom come to the men who are purchasing sex, we have to then go, where is their brokenness coming from? How is pornography pushing the demand? And they have amazing tools for how to talk to your kids about it, how to bring awareness and resources into your family. And if your kids are viewing it, they say the average age of porn addiction is 11 years old. That means the viewing starts way before that. So if your kid has social media or if your kid has anything, the chances that they've seen something inappropriate is very high. And so now as parents, we can go, how can we talk to our kids? How can we take a generation and maybe stop the demand in this generation by educating and bringing awareness to the effects, the negative effects of pornography on relationships, on marriages, on our church, on our community as a whole. So, yeah.
Yeah. And we don't even really, I guess, understand fully, like, what the effects of, a kid who's 11, because, I mean, like, the internet has been around for a bit, but as far as, like, smartphones, we're still, they came out, I was already pretty much an adult, so we don't even understand, like, how this will fully affect us. We don't have that much data on it, really.
We don't. And I think as parents, and I'm guilty of this. We take this phone that has access to every bit of information under the sun. We hand it to our 10 or 11-year-old and we say, good luck, use it wisely.
Right.
And that's really, I think a majority of our parents are guilty of that without us being educated on what's on the internet, because pornography back in the 80s isn't the same as it is now. And so you had like the big companies like Playboy and Hustler, and they had boards, like executive boards, that oversaw what they were doing, and they had accountability. Well, now pornography is very different. A lot of it gets filmed on smartphones, uploaded to sites. So there's such a lack of accountability. And so we give our kids these cell phones and we say, good luck. And unknowingly, they're viewing stuff. They go to school, people are showing them stuff. And then there's that shame that comes in, and the enemy just loves using shame, against us. And then, of course, comes the breakdown of communication between parent and child. And, so a lot of our heart, Kirk and mine's heart, is to really bring a lot of education to parents of like, hey, how can we talk to our kids? How can you have like these really healthy relationships with your kids where they can come to you and talk to you about things? Just equipping. Our heart is really equip and mobilize and training people. And that's really the heart of missionaries, because that's what you do when you go to any country. Well, here we find ourselves in our own, and you look around and you see brokenness in our own country. So how can we bring healing and bring freedom to our families, and to the men that are potentially struggling with pornography addiction? How can we like walk alongside them? And again, with that love, saying, man, we love you. How can we walk? How can we walk alongside you? So our heart is really just restoration and wanting to see people free of any addiction that they're struggling with. So that is just really our true heart, my husband and mine's true heart. So
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we'll just close it out this hour. And yeah, it's been good. Right now it's 9:50. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.
I know, I asked Curt, I was like, hey, I just want to make sure, like, is some words okay if I say, he's like, oh yeah. He's like, this is funny. I'm like, can I say the word pornography? And he's like, yeah, just don't talk about alcohol. I'm like, I can do that. So, because a lot of what we do is rooted. When you talk to
you
men,
can talk about alcohol, but not in the fact of like, hey, we have beer specials. Like that's what we try and, and say, because somebody, I know you wouldn't, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
Not today. Right. But, and that's one thing that we're really finding is when you really trace a lot of consumers. So when you have a man, so we call him consumer, some people call him buyer, or John, but I say consumer because that's what he's doing. He's consuming a person and consuming a person's vulnerabilities. And when you really trace it back, so it's kind of like a serial killer. So it's kind of odd, but like somebody doesn't wake up one morning and decide to kill 15 people. There's some progression that has taken place throughout his life. Maybe he was young and he killed small animals, or maybe he had some severe abuse, and that kind of unfortunately kind of changed the way that he processes things. Then maybe bad relationships, lots of rejection, lots of this, and then all of a sudden that brokenness compiled. Then that progression hits to where, man, that enemy has him in a place, that, and that's the same with men who purchase women on street level. They don't wake up, because that's a boldness to really put yourself out there and drive in a car. Because, back in the day, before there was lots of street prostitution, before there was online prostitution, men really had to look for it. The chance of being caught was smaller, but now it's very in the open. And so men just don't wake up and say, hey, I'm going to go purchase a woman today. Yeah. There's a progression.
There was I'll call it a sting. I don't know. But the other day, I think it was in the Woodlands. There was like a bunch of people. And they post all those mug shots, guys and girls out there. And it's just like, if you think those are every single one who has something, like you said, led up to that point in their life where they felt like they had to go, if there's a girl or a guy or whatever, that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I have to do.
Yeah, they make a choice out of a lack of choice. And that's something that we always have to tell people, because people go, oh, well, that girl chooses, to be a prostitute. But how we say it, we don't call them a prostitute. We call them prostituted women, because it's an action that's being taken against them. And so, it's very easy to just go like, oh, she's a prostitute, and demean her by using that term. But really what it is, she's being prostituted. She's a victim. And so someone has taken advantage of her vulnerabilities, and this is now where she finds herself. And so like, if you can make that switch in your brain, kind of switches the way that you view her, even in your heart, to where you, instead of going, oh, that she's a prostitute, you go, she's being prostituted. And so
Yeah.
you kind of, it kind of changes the way
sense.
that you look at it. And so, it's changing people's vocabulary. It's changing how people view brokenness, how people view those kind of things. That's really what we're about, is just really wanting to walk alongside people and say, hey, instead of judging, right? Like, how can you be praying? Like, how can you be praying for this man who's purchasing a woman? And just saying that kind of makes you go, ooh, like, I don't know. Like, I
Right.
remember first thinking that, and it took me a while to learn how to pray for that, because, it's difficult, because you think if it wasn't for him, but really he's struggling with brokenness too. And so, men need to be set free from their bondage just as much as the women in the industry need to be set free from theirs. So
we got 50 seconds. So after this, we'll go back on and we'll introduce you one more time. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, you can share how to do that, or if they want to help in any way.
Definitely.
How
I'm
to do
excited. You guys have been fantastic.
You've been great.
You've
as
been
well.
great.
I feel like you could have just
Kept going for another hour or two.
yeah, probably so. There's a lot.
That's
cover.
what I'm saying. Like, man, this is like my ideal job. Just come in and talk for a living. I love talking. So
Get you a show
look,
on our
I could be
radio.
like your female, like,
We need
counterpart.
We do. People have said they're like,
Yeah.
"Got a lot of guy
Yeah.
like mojo going on."
We need to take that
See?
personality test.
Yeah, you do. I'll send you mine so you know what to expect. But
5 seconds now. Cool. I'm definitely taking that test. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We have Stephanie Clausen here in studio with us. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you doing today?
good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us. We have a couple minutes left. And so if somebody was looking to get in contact with you, can you once again maybe just share who you're associated with and how, everything, a little bit of what you do and how somebody can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So we're missionaries under a sending organization called Go To Nations. And so if you want to partner with us financially, so we're always looking for people to partner with us. That's how we stay doing what we're doing. That's how we can come here in the morning and talk about what we're doing and train, equip other people. And so if you want to give, you can go to gotonations.org, and it's gotonations.org/Clausens, and you can give there online, or we have a website called missionariesforhope.com, or we're on Facebook, Missionaries for Hope. You can find my husband and I individually. So we post a lot of stuff. You can sign up for our newsletter. So our newsletters are very informative of what's going on, how you can be involved. So we're out there everywhere. And if you want to get involved with our event coming up January 24th, send me a message. You can send me an email at missionariesforhope@gmail.com. And just let me know what you want to do, and I'll plug you in. And but be looking out on social media for our event. And I invited these awesome guys to come and cover the event, and it would just be an honor. This has been a wonderful morning. Abundant Life is a fantastic campus, and it's just been really great. I've had a fantastic time this morning.
Good. I'm glad. We'll have to have you back for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely. And then if we can make it out to that event in January, we'll definitely be there.
please.
For sure. So you're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Stay tuned. We're going to have the Sanctuary Gym in studio. They're based out of Friendswood. It's some Christian people who own it, operate it. They got, a long story, and we're going to be sharing that. And they're also participating in our canned food drive that we're doing tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Moore Memorial Public Library. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Brightwork out of Virginia, The Great Exchange on KHEA.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. I was a little nervous because I was like, well, I mean, I do have a radio face, so that works. And then you guys were like, oh no, we're filming. Like, oh my gosh.
You look like Julia Morales. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
She's a TV person, but she works for the Root Sports a little
Oh.
bit. Whenever you had your headphones on, I was like, oh, she looks like Julia Morales. Like,
See,
I'll
I
show you a
could be
picture.
your female counterpart and
There
go
you
out and.
You can have my job. I'll give it to you.
Oh, that is so sweet.
trying to find
I
a
feel
good
bad,
picture.
but also blessed. You guys have been great. I really appreciate this opportunity. And
I can't find one where it justifies my opinion, but if you remember that, Julia Morales, she works
Julia
for
Morales,
AT&T Sportsnet.
AT&T
Yeah.
Sportsnet. Julia Morales. Okay.
Gardy's the only one who watches that channel.
What?
It was wonderful
Nice to
meeting
meet
you.
you.
I look forward to working with you guys some more.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
stay in contact.
Come in. Sorry, guys. I got to get my stretch on a little bit. I feel
You
like
guys
I've been
ready?
sitting down for
Oh,
ages.
man, we can't talk to a gym and not be stretched out.
Oh, yeah. I'm stretching because I've been sitting, but how's it going?
Good. Long time no see.
I know.
Were you
Last time I saw you, I was
Taller
pushing
than
a
me, so-
sled.
and you were recording?
I
Yeah.
was like, Kurt, why do you get always
And he's been
in
talking
these-
so much mess since. He was like, I could take that guy. Here, let me scoot that drink. I'm going to move this over. And I've
Don't knock
spilled
the
too many
drink over.
drinks.
Here, I'll just put this
Yeah,
one.
that's
Oh, no, it's fine being up there. I just wanted to move this so
Are you
that way.
We could see you.
Yeah.
We had drinks up here.
Oh,
Just don't tell Scott.
Be really careful.
How are y'all doing today?
Really
We're
good.
good. We're good. Nice and chilly outside. So
It is.
I mean,
kinda
for
nice.
Texas, it's chilly.
Oh,
When it goes from the 90s to the 80s, it's chilly.
So I
So
walked down there and I was
I
like,
love it.
oh my gosh, I need a parka.
The parka.
So he put on his sports coat. That's what happened this morning. I was like, why'd you wear a sports coat? Do you have something else going on today?
No, I
He was
just
like, no, what?
You dressed up for
I just
us.
always dress. Yeah, I guess so. I always dress up this way. I'm like,
that's really thoughtful of you to dress up for this occasion.
See, I wish more people would take that mentality.
When you
Sorry.
walked out, I was like, man, this guy looks sharp for Friday morning. Wow.
Yeah.
Friday morning. It's the hat, right?
That's what it
It's
is. No, I think it's more the
What
coat.
is that hat? I don't even.
It's just
Is it, is it a golf?
Golf
is it a
shop.
golfer?
we said it was like make America PC again.
Yeah.
You know,
he has a red one just like that. And I
but it
was
does
like,
not say
"Oh,
that.
you're like a Make America Great. And I was like, oh,
Taylor made.
It's
tailor made.
Taylor
That would be
made.
kind of cool if your name was Taylor.
Yeah.
'Cause then I could be.
Or if you were good
my
at golf.
hat.
Taylor made.
Or if I was good at golf.
Then that'd be cool too. And you wear a golf hat and you're like really good.
I'm pretty good at golf.
What's up, Caleb?
Working out might be hard, but I'm good at golf.
Sure you
Oh,
are.
so y'all can see who's commenting.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we watch.
Oh, I'm
We
gonna
watch,
I'm
we
gonna
ask
watch
questions.
Too.
Caleb, what's going on, man?
To make my
Caleb's about to get married, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Caleb.
Is he live? Oh,
He's on there.
He had popped in.
Hi, Caleb.
Yeah. Hope Solomon's doing good. Everybody else is off today.
Yeah, we had to work.
And I sent a text out specifically saying, hey, everybody tune into the live stream.
I have not seen
So-
Solomon.
I have not seen Solomon. He's going to get a 0 for the day.
Josh has also been here today. He liked our page. And
I did.
doesn't show up.
Maybe unliked it.
Have
What's
you
up,
seen-
Brandon?
Have
How
you
come it
seen
says
the-
how do you pronounce Jimmy Chungus?
Yes, that was
Am I
our
on the
latest poll
right?
question.
Shout out to
Oh.
Caleb.
That's the
I was
correct
like, am
one.
I on the right channel?
So we were talking about this earlier because it's like a chimichanga, but it's like Jimmy Changas, I guess is what it's supposed to be, but I call it Jimmy Changas.
I think it depends on your
Oh.
ethnicity. If
Yeah.
you're Hispanic, it's Jimmy Changas. If you're
Yeah.
white, it's Jimmy Changas.
Yeah.
I call it Jimmy Chungus.
I call it Jimmy Chongas.
I call it Jimmy Chungus.
Jimmy Changas. I think I call it Jimmy Changas.
I call it Jimmy Chungus.
Well, I call
Maybe
it
it
Jimmy.
is Jimmy Chongas.
Maybe it was introduced to me as Jimmy
Hey.
Chunga, and so that's why I call it that. I'm not sure.
Jimmy Chongas are like the Butterfinger thing.
How's it spelled?
Did we do that again?
CHA. It's Jimmy Changas.
So,
I pronounce it
being in fitness, do y'all eat much Jimmy Changas? Jimmy
Yes,
Changas?
yes.
We-
It,
we
it
do.
depends on what time
We
of the day, what
frequent
time of the
Jimmy
week, what time of the
Chungas.
year.
We do go there.
Yeah. We have found out that fitness is a lot. It's what you eat, for the most part. You
That's
can,
the hard part, yeah.
A lot of people today, they want to lose weight. It's like, oh, I could lose that extra 5, 10, 50 pounds. It doesn't matter what it is. And it's like you have to be dedicated. You have to be able to have self-control to eat what's right.
There's a lot that goes into it, yeah.
Eat
I mean,
less.
there can be,
Yeah.
but you can also simplify things too. And I think people have a problem with overcomplicating the whole health and fitness industry. I mean, it's not rocket science. It really isn't, but people try to turn it into rocket science. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Cool.
would agree with. But I do think that probably like 90% of it has to do with nutrition and what people are putting in their mouth versus, it really comes down and simply calories burned versus calories eaten.
Yeah.
And it really is that simple. And people just, you have to account for the calories that you're eating, and then you have to make sure that you're burning,
More.
yeah,
The appropriate amount,
it's
I guess.
intake versus outtake. Yeah.
Yeah, we can move this up.
I wanna move
Y'all
this.
sound great, but y'all can even. Yeah, that's perfect.
Well, and I taught him a mumbler.
I'm guilty of mumbling.
She's very her voice is very, very calm on normally, and I'm usually the loud one, and I'm trying to be calm now.
Kurt's quiet until he's not. He's like, "Hey, so I'm Kurt Casper," and then he starts yelling at the mic, and I'm like, "Oh, my ears!"
I do not.
And then
Okay,
when
a
we're
little
laying
bit.
in bed, I'm like screaming, and you're like, "Babe, I'm right here."
Yeah, why are you yelling at me?
Let me see.
How long have you guys had? You guys were saying that you guys moved gyms from Dickinson to Friendswood.
Yep. So we opened in March of 2015 in Dickinson, and then
On the west side of 517.
yes, going towards Alvin.
Because I hadn't been, but I saw people had tagged themselves there, and I remember like I'm seeing the mental map. Of
Yeah.
where we at towards Alvin.
Yeah, so we opened in March of 2015 in Dickinson, and I guess it's considered Dickinson, but it's kind of like we weren't really in necessarily a city, so we were kind of on the outskirts, and we were on the outside of League City, outside of Alvin, outside of Santa Fe, outside of Dickinson. So I really didn't feel like we belonged anywhere. It didn't really feel like home, and so during the course of that 2 years, we were trying to get back into either League City, or it wasn't necessarily the plan to say I wanted to be in Friendswood at first, but we got Lord blessed us with a great opportunity to move into Friendswood, and we had to take it. So
How long y'all been in Friendswood now?
a year,
Literally a year.
right at a
That's
year.
cool.
Mhm.
Yes, we got the keys to the building. Was it October or September?
It was September. So officially our lease started October 1st, but we really moved in like the last 2 weeks of September,
Okay.
2017. So
Yeah, December is when we moved in.
So they were saying that they've had a hard time filling the boxes for canned food. I was kind of worried. I was hoping that they would win the
Yeah.
contest that we
Oh,
had.
we're going to take care of that as soon as we get out of here.
I told them that Furniture Zone they're asking for like a second or
getting a
third
second
box.
yeah.
Even if I got to fill this box myself.
So Kurt said the cheese is his spirit animal. Is that what you were
Well,
saying?
see, yeah. So
Joe.
Texas said, or Joe said, Jonathan is my spirit animal, and I said cheese is. But maybe if I had Jonathan as my spirit animal, I would look different.
Yeah, you wouldn't have cheese like oozing out of your like ears and
Cut me open, cheese comes out instead of blood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Who doesn't love Joe Perez, though, right?
Joe
Right, he's
Perez
awesome.
is
Oh
the
yeah, you gotta
man.
love Joe.
So we have I see Crystal Koza said maybe that you're calm
Calm.
until you have your energy banana. So we had a gentleman who does Camp Gladiator.
Mhm.
His name's JJ. Dark Wolf Fitness is what he does. So he does that morning boot camp style stuff. And so he has a relationship with Cellucor, which I like C4.
Mhm.
It makes you feel good, you know, and gets you going and moving if you need some help. So he dropped us off some of these things, these samples, and Kurt was eating a banana that day, like he tends to some days. And I said, hey, it'd be a good idea if we had an energy banana. So he peeled his banana. I peeled the C4. We poured it all over his banana. So about 3 days in a row, he had an energy banana.
Nice.
Do y'all
It's
think that could catch
delicious.
on?
It could potentially catch on.
No,
Definitely no energy bananas.
It's the worst.
Maybe
It's terrible.
is there a C4 in banana flavor?
Not yet.
That's what you could work on.
Okay.
But tearing the
Yeah, maybe
peeling the
contact
banana.
Cellucor.
yes, contact Cellucor.
Oh, we
Or
have.
or wait,
Those
hold
are
on.
like banana flavored
We've been
Hold
Cellucor.
on, guys. Let the woman talk here.
Okay.
Okay. So, or maybe we could take like a Ninja or a blender,
Mhm.
put a banana, put some C4 and some water,
Ah.
and we could make a drink.
That's
and
too
just
simple.
Drink it.
That's too simple. That's too simple. We're men. We like to do things the hard
We
way.
like get a banana
Rather
and
than
we like
like-
inject it with
Inject it with the
so that way when you feel
Cellucor.
it's already in there.
I love it.
All right, we're gonna keep this brainstorm. We'll come back to the energy banana,
Energy
trademarked
banana.
2018.
Damon, you missed out, man. You missed out. But it is trademarked. You cannot steal it.
He said Damon just ate a banana plain.
That's sad.
That is
You
sad.
gotta have C4 on it. It's trademarked though. You can't steal it.
Well, you can
I
use
would
it.
never. You can have that one. Yeah, you can definitely keep that one.
Oh man. So John says your hair looks great.
It always looks great. I mean, I have a hat on right now, but I mean, it's
That is.
we were debating on whether I should cut it and go back to the mohawk or
Should put the
not.
hat back on.
But now I have the hat back on. I just tell people I'm trying to look a little bit more like Jesus. So I grew the beard out and grew some long hair. Hopefully, I can be Jesus for the Christmas play this
It
year.
really does look good whenever it hasn't been under a hat and it's like freshly
I want
brushed and
Jonathan to be
everything.
my spirit animal now with that hair. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
Kurt, take off your hat, and your hair doesn't even.
yeah, I mean, right.
Ooh.
Look, yeah.
Okay, put it back on.
It took a
Well, Jonathan has two hairstyles: this or a faux hawk.
faux hawk.
Okay.
And like the early 1990s,
Mhm.
kind of called and took the faux hawk back. So we went to this one. He had the faux hawk for a long time, so we had to try something.
Well, in all fairness, the hairstyles now is the comb over.
Right.
And I had the comb over my entire life up until I was 20. So it's not new for me when people have
he
this.
had the Pentecostal comb over.
Yes, I had the Pentecostal comb over, and there,
The
you
nice
know,
part,
yeah, nice part. So
and that's like now in style. Like they like shave
Hard
the
part.
line.
I mean, Kurt has that if his hair was fixed, but yeah, they faded it all the way up to like where the part is.
Do they
and it's like
shave
the
your
high
line
fade.
in your part?
They use a razor blade.
Like you remember back in the day, like people had that part because like that was their hair. And
Yeah.
it was an actual part, and now they just
Now they're
like
like
create the line.
Yeah.
yeah. So it was either
Jonathan
it's either
had
mohawk or
Jonathan
long hair.
had the real line.
So
like
what
the
you're
part.
saying is long hair is coming back next.
Yes,
It's gonna
yes.
be back.
It was awkward for a while, but yeah, now it's actually.
Well, it has to
getting
be
like
awkward. It has to grow.
You have to get to that
You
awkward.
look like you're about to
It's
bust
getting
in
to
like
the-
the
I mean,
WWE ring
yeah.
with that long hair and like in those arms.
Yeah, I
He's
wore-
about to make
I
his
wore it.
debut.
I wore it long, short for the longest time, and I haven't had a haircut in a year. So
Okay.
so it's getting close to where if I cut it now, then this whole year of growing it would have been worthless. So
Man.
We've thought about it. Going through the awkward stage. There was several periods where he was like, maybe I should just go ahead and cut it, but it's getting there. I like it both ways.
Yeah.
I'm going for the
I'm
Tom
good with
Cruise
both.
look in The Last Samurai.
He would literally be going through pictures and be like, "How about this hairstyle, babe?
How about Tom
this
Cruise
one?"
in this movie?
Yeah.
How about Captain America in
Mission
Infinity
Impossible.
War? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Oh,
and then now every day I keep doing this just randomly just because it's
he does.
funny.
He like waves his hair like this,
What's
or
gonna
he'll
happen?
like do this big comb over with his hand
Slowly,
across
yeah,
the-
slowly.
One day
across
when
the
you get
gym.
cut, you're gonna be like trying to do it just
Yeah.
because it's like a habit. You're like,
yeah,
hopefully nobody saw that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. What's
I
he
had to-
waving? There's nothing up there.
I had to go buy him his own brush.
It's my first brush. I've never owned a brush before because I've never had to
I
brush
have a
my
pink
hair.
one, and it was weird seeing him brush with a pink brush, so I went and bought him a blue one.
Oh wow.
What is everyone saying?
A little bit of
The
everything.
Pentecost.
So we got 2.5 minutes, and we'll go on the
Rodney.
FM.
What's up, Rodney?
Ooh, Adonis said, "Hold my banana high," and this is like it's infused with the power from heaven. That's what's up.
Imbued.
Yeah,
Imbued.
you know, Adonis and his big words. I don't even know what imbued means.
It
Someone
probably
look
means
that
something really smart.
up.
Or autocorrect happened on his. He's an Android user.
I think it might have been infused.
Probably. He is an Android user.
We'll blame the Android.
So all of us have iPhones, I think. Is it? Yep. All of us are on the team.
We got nothing but Apple in here. Pretty much
Oh, yeah, we're
everything
all
in here is
Apple, too.
Apple.
Oh, how long you guys been doing this radio show?
Since November of last year. So it's
So
just
y'all
about
are
a
like
year.
right at a year too.
Somebody told us
Sure.
happy birthday the other day.
Your
And we're like,
anniversary.
Oh, it's been a year.
is it?
It flew by, didn't it?
It's y'all's
Careful with the word
anniversary.
anniversary. Gardy gets upset. He's like, "Stop calling it an anniversary."
Yeah,
Kurt."
because
I'm
he was like,
"What are you getting me?"
It's almost our anniversary. And I'm like, okay, it sounds weird.
It's the longest relationship I've ever had.
Yeah.
Well, anniversary means like it's like annual, it's a
Right.
year. So birthday doesn't really sound like yearly, even though it
Mhm.
is. But y'all didn't birth this, like you didn't
Technically, we
birth
did.
it through
Kurt,
your birthing canal.
did you see Kurt did that birth pain simulator?
Oh
thing?
yeah, How did that go? I didn't see it.
Great.
But
I
how,
did see that.
How did
it
that
hurt.
feel?
Oh, it hurt.
On a scale
was it
of 1 to
worse
10.
or better than you thought?
Worse. Way worse.
On a scale from 1 to 10, so
You're literally being electrocuted.
I would say it's probably about a 6 because that machine goes to 100 and you only got to 60% before it was like, stop, make
Yeah.
it stop.
100 would be
Make it
stop.
What is that? Is 100 like really what a woman goes through?
No, he said like 20 was like a mild contraction.
We said
How's that?
15. He was like, this is a mild contraction. Kurt was like, this is a mild contraction. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Sorry,
But I
guys,
got
I
up to
was hating on the
60.
droid.
But every time he like increased the intensity, and I was just like, by that time, like your muscles are just dead. They're like,
Did you cry like physically? Tears?
My legs were up in the air, Does that count?
We got 15 seconds already.
Yeah.
Do you want to put the headphones on?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:13. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And we have some guests in studio hanging out with us this morning. We have the Sanctuary Gym, literally the entire gym here in studio. What's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
Hey.
What's up, man?
Can y'all let us know, where is the Sanctuary Gym and how long have y'all been going?
So we are located at 133 West Parkwood Avenue in Friendswood, Texas. That's like at the corner of 518 and 528, right behind Gina's Italian restaurant.
Mhm.
And there's like an HEB and Texas First Bank in that little parking lot. So
With that Italian restaurant being there, are a lot of people like, oh man, I just say I got to join a gym, and then they're like,
oh yeah, you
come
can
work it out.
totally smell like the French bread whenever you're walking in the gym. It's
do y'all
Pizza.
shame people like, you
Yes.
smell like
Yes.
Italian food? What are
Yeah.
you doing?
Most of the time, we just walk in there and look around and just nod at people, and then just turn
like
around and
flex
walk
outside
out.
the window,
Yeah.
and
And,
they're
like,
like, oh.
sometimes you can even smell like in the gym them baking like
Yeah,
I think the
bread.
pizza bread dough or whatever.
Does that help motivate people, or is it
No.
kind of like a
I'm
hinder?
not sure.
It's great for job security, though. People get a great workout, leave, go have some lasagna, and then they have to come back.
Post-workout.
So.
Yeah, you got to come back.
Post-workout pizza.
I work out, eat lasagna, and then never come back.
I think that's probably pretty popular, actually. People eating lasagna and not coming back.
Yeah.
Kurt's like Garfield. He's just like eating pans of
Like,
lasagna.
I always
Yeah.
talk about I need to lose weight. I need to go on a diet. Never happens.
Yeah.
Jonathan is
Man.
is pizza. He loves pizza.
If pizza didn't exist, I would be in really, really good shape. It's the only bad thing that I.
It's his vice.
But
for
where?
sure.
Where do you get pizza from? Like if you're like, hey,
Any-
Domino's.
It can be Totino's
Not
pizza
any-
rolls.
It's Domino's. Like he'll be on his phone, and I can even see he's like a
pizza
little
rolls.
toddler. Like I can see when he holds the phone close whenever he's like ordering Domino's, and then he walks around and waits because Domino's you can see whenever they're
meter.
delivering. Yeah, he like walks around just waiting
So I
by
have
the
to
front door.
I have to tell you my funny story about Domino's.
Okay.
So we did a challenge at the beginning of the year in January where we lost weight, right? So we're on this weight loss challenge. There's a Friday night. I was like, I could eat something healthy, but I was like, no, you know what? I've ate healthy all week. I'm going to go to Domino's.
I deserve this, right?
So I called ahead and I was like, I want the Casper sandwich, which is like a bacon ranch sandwich without, ranch. It was like
Is it
garlic.
a sandwich from Domino's?
Oh yeah, it's not named after me
named it
yet.
himself.
I know. I call him like, I want the Casper, and they're like, okay, we got it. So I go into Domino's to get the sandwich, and they go, we can't find your order. We can't find it. We cooked it. I remember it was here. I was like, this must have been a God thing. That God said, no, you have to go eat something healthy. So I was like, they're like, we can like make you another one and give you like a brownie for free. I was like, no, let's just go back and eat healthy. And I told them, I'm like, this is a God thing. So I left.
That's
Right.
good.
But what'd you eat? What'd you go and do?
I don't remember. I think I just didn't eat.
You went to KFC.
KFC
Something
and had
like
like
that.
mac
You're
and
like,
cheese or something.
wow. Yeah. So people like Kurt help keep people like y'all
In
Right.
business.
in
Business.
business. Yeah. I know. Me too. I love working out. But here's the thing. Like either I'm not doing something right because I'm like, I feel like I've been working out pretty regularly, like for 3 years. And I'm like, I noticed like an increase in my strength. But if you look at me, I look like, the same. And I guess, is that diet? What am I doing wrong? Am I just not working hard enough? I guess it could be a whole bunch of different things.
I mean, you have several elements to fitness. You obviously have your nutrition, you have your cardiovascular, and then you also have strength training. And if you're not doing basically a perfect combination of all three, you're really not gonna, see the results that you want. And ultimately, you just need to sit down and set a goal, and not an unrealistic goal. If you weigh 300 pounds, you don't want to say that I want to weigh 200 pounds in 6 months, which you can probably lose 100 pounds in 6 months. I had a guy lose. Richard Porchot, shout out Richard, the silverback gorilla. Anyways,
Probably at work.
so I had Richard. He lost 80 pounds in 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and we did a really good weight loss challenge. But it's you have to teach your mind how to make that sustainable.
Mhm.
If you just all of a sudden go on a crash diet, there's a statistic that says that 80% of people that lose weight gain all their weight back plus more. So if 10 people lose weight, 8 people are going to get fat again, or they're going to gain weight again.
Yeah.
And so you really don't want to be a statistic. You really want to like be different than that. And so you really have to set, small goals and try to achieve those goals over time. And if you don't set those goals and try to reach those goals and you don't write them down, then you're never gonna hit those goals or hit those marks.
Is that important, writing it down?
I would say so, yes.
Yeah.
For me, I typically write anything that's involved in my life, whether it's a business, relationship, personal goals. I typically have it either all wrote down in my notes, but I'm not really technologically savvy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to actually visibly write it down in a notebook. I'm probably one of the few people that walk around actually that has a notebook that writes stuff down. Meanwhile, people type it on their phones. I have to write
keep
it down.
notes in my phone. I keep everything electronically,
Mhm.
and it's crazy to me that he literally does have like note, but he has to like if we're having a conversation like about business and things, he has to go to like a whiteboard or blackboard and like literally write it out to be able to go through the thought process. So
That's cool.
He's very visual.
You got to find what works for you and helping you accomplish your goals
Mhm.
and everything.
I think that goes back to that audiobook that you're listening to, right, Gardy?
Not really.
No,
I mean, I don't know.
goals and achieving the goals.
Okay.
I guess I don't know.
What audiobook are you listening?
I'm a fan of Grant Cardone.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Love Grant. Mhm.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. So it's the 10X or whatever. But
Mhm.
I mean, I've listened to that book and I've followed him for like a long time. And so I had Curt trapped in the car for about an hour on the way to Humble, an MMA fight, and I was like, I'm not playing this for my sake, all right? I was like,
Yeah.
I know all this stuff and I'm all about it. I love it. I was like, hey Curt, hey, I have a special surprise for you. And I think he thought I was gonna pull through like KFC or something, but he was like, so he was a little disappointed.
I only caught one thing out of the whole audiobook, that whole hour, and it was either you become a slave to somebody else's ideas, or you can achieve your own ideas.
And he looked up from playing Candy Crush in the car for about 2 seconds and was like, huh. And then like looked back down and started playing Candy Crush again. And I was like, all right, man. I was like, let's go.
But he retained that one sentence, and I think that's what those speakers
Yeah,
they
the
have
nuggets.
they have those lines, and you just
Well, but I think it all depends on how you process like information. As far as like me and Cassidy doesn't do well when people like are loud and yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody's really trying to motivate you and they're being really loud, she doesn't receive well from that. Well, that's the only way that I receive. I don't receive well from somebody that's just, if they're just kind of real monotone voice and they're talking, I don't get excited about what you're saying. You have to
Mhm.
make me excited. That's why I like Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. One of my favorites is Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. He's one of my favorites.
he likes
That's
going
cool.
to black church.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I
emotion.
like
Slam
it.
the organ.
Yeah.
I like
Whoa,
it. I
what
like
happened?
being hit with the word like it's a wave right in the face.
Yeah. Have y'all heard about Ron Carpenter? Have you ever seen him? You may look into him. So we just had a church conference here at Abundant Life, and he spoke on Monday.
Monday night.
He spoke on Monday night. And so he's from, I believe, South Carolina. And then who took his church? John Gray.
John
So
Gray.
it was John Gray,
I know who that is, Pastor John
Ron
Gray.
Carpenter. They
I like
did like
him
a
too.
big triangle switch where it has to be like a God thing where they're like, hey, we're going to switch churches. So he went out to Silicon Valley. John Gray, from here went up, and it was a big, interesting thing that I've never seen
Wow.
happen before. But man,
So they're just preaching at each other's
they swapped church. Like, hey, you take my church, I'll take your.
permanently.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's I don't know. I started this church 30 something years ago. Let's
swap.
switch. Yeah.
Oh,
And so he
wow.
moved out to Silicon Valley, but Ron Carpenter, he was here, and man, I have not been involved in maybe a service quite like that ever, but dude, his style. So he brought his own guy, playing. I'm a musician as well. And so I was playing guitar that night, but then I got switched to bass whenever it was like ministry time. And then he was like, I need a B3 sound. And so the dude was up there, and it's interesting playing with other people that you're not familiar with, but
Yeah.
you should look into Ron
But
Carpenter.
that also goes to what we were just saying. Like, if you have a pastor of a church who's been preaching at that church for so long, and people receive a certain way, and then you bring someone different in,
It's different.
and they're different, and you might have a lot more participation or a lot more people receive that way, and then it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So if one person can capture a huge audience, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So right now we're talking about the Sanctuary Gym, a little bit of everything else. It's 1022. This is KHEAradio.com, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. Hey, Curt, let's talk a little bit about what's going on
tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
Coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m., we have our community canned food drive at Moore Memorial Public Library. We're trying to fill up the Galveston County Food Bank. So you can come drop non-perishable items off at Moore Memorial Public Library. If you can't make it there, there is still time to drop them into our different locations that we have throughout the community. You can find that on our Facebook page. And the Sanctuary Gym is one of those places that you can drop off those canned food items. And the businesses that we have dropped off boxes to that have the most amount of canned food items in there get 1 free month, a sponsorship here at KHEA Radio. Free.
Yep. That's a good deal.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
That's like 1,000.
Well,
You know,
like there's
more.
some interesting things that people are doing. Like, I guess it's Furniture Zone. They do a $500 drawing every month where you put your name in, and they're like, oh, if you bring 10 cans, you can get 10 extra opportunities. And Cool Cow Creamery, which they're probably helping keep y'all in business as well, and they're delicious. They're doing like, oh, bring anything in, you get 10% off. So it's kind of neat. It's people getting creative with it. We just like that we're going to be able to do this and for the community.
Right,
Oh yeah.
So-
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. So how long? I want to kind of get some of y'all's history. Like, how long have y'all been doing, fitness, and where did that passion come from? How did it start?
Let's see. I've always been. I can always say that I've never not been in shape. This is probably the most out of shape that you'll ever see me. I've played sports my entire life. I've been a competitive bodybuilder since 2006. I've competed in 13 bodybuilding competitions. I've been training people since 2006. I played football for 6 years. I played basketball for years. I played baseball for 8 years. I mean, I've always been athletic and in shape. So a lot of that came from growing up. My dad was like my football coach, and he was my football coach, or he was my baseball coach. We played football all the time. Dad was a huge Steelers fan, so naturally, I bleed the black and gold, go Steelers, woo! So so it's one of those things that I've never not been in shape. So for me, the gym or lifting weights or athletics or some form of physical, fitness has been a part of my entire life for going on 33 years now.
That's cool. So do you still do the competitive bodybuilding competitions?
I have not hung up the trunks yet, even though Cassidy would like for me to hang up the trunks. I have not hung up my mankini. However, I don't know. We've been open in business, and I've really been focused on other people and other people's goals in the gym and trying to work on those things. Bodybuilding can be it can be however you make it. And unfortunately, most people make it a very selfish, all about me sport. And I try to make things more team oriented. And the more that you can put yourself in position where you have people around you to help you, the better and more successful you'll be later on in life. And bodybuilding doesn't really cater to that so much, because it's just you. You're the only one that gets up. You're the one that goes and does your cardio. You're the one that eats your meals. You're the one that decides whether you're going to skip fish and rice and eat pizza. You're the one that decides how your physical fitness is going to be. And, so it can be a really, 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 really,
It's a very individual sport. Like it can very much kind of isolate. You can isolate yourself really easily in bodybuilding.
So
Yeah.
I have a question. We started a challenge Monday. It's called the Bye Bye Belly Fat Challenge.
we got some.
We're trying to get rid of our belly
I
fat.
like it.
It's more of like our baby belly fat. And what would be the first thing that you would recommend to us as we go through this 2-month challenge?
Balance and the biggest thing is going to be do your cardio. There's 3 major parts. Do your cardio, eat your food, prep. You prepare to fail or fail to prepare. And if you're not prepared with your meals, mostly,
then you're going to go to what's easiest.
Yeah, you're going to go eat the wrong food. So prepare your food, at the beginning of the week or on the weekends or whatever your schedule allows. But be prepared with your meals and have your meals available and eat those meals. Sometimes people prepare their meals and then, they get through Monday or Tuesday and then they're like, screw these meals. I'm going to go eat, McDonald's. So
The pizza.
eat your meals. Yeah. Eat your meals, do your cardio and go, do your weight training. You have to kind of do all 3. If you aren't doing all 3 of them, I think of it kind of like a podium. If one of the legs on the little tripod is not there, it doesn't stand up.
Gonna fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, you ask the same question that almost everybody else does. It's that's the grandest question of them all, is what's the best for me to do? Or you'll hear people say, what's the best diet? Or it never fails. It's what's the best diet? What's the best exercise? What's the best way to lose weight? And ultimately, the best way to lose weight is what works for you the best. There's so many different diets out there. There's a balanced diet. There's a ketogenic diet, which is super popular right now. Everybody calls it keto. Well, back in the day, we called it Atkins diet. Right. Now it's the keto diet. And so there's so many recipes and there's so much more information out there with the keto diet. But everybody's body kind of processes things differently depending on how your hormones act. And so for the most part, it's all I have a client, his name is Jimmy, and Jimmy Smith, if he's listening, shout out to Jimmy Smith. Mm-hmm. So Jimmy, we started him out we did a balanced diet where it was just 40% carbs, 40% protein, and 20% fat. So 100% of his calories came 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat. And then basically from each week, we just kind of manipulated. We either pulled the percentage of his carbs down or raised the percentage of his protein. And if that didn't give us the drastic results that we wanted, then we would switch it. So we went from a balanced diet, then we went to a low carb diet. Then we went to a carb cycling diet. Carb cycling, basically you have high days, low days, and moderate days, depending, you get the amount of carbohydrates for the activity that you're going to do that day. Okay. So if you're going to go run a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, and you have a really strenuous job, you really want to take in some energy calories to get you through your day. If not, you're going to be useless to anybody. And your brain needs a certain amount of calories to function properly anyways. So we went from a balanced diet to a low carb diet, carb cycling diet. And then we did we didn't do the ketogenic diet because people can follow a ketogenic diet at first. And it's something, for the most part, I haven't really seen anybody be able to sustain that longevity, long term. People that go on a ketogenic diet, they'll lose 20, 30, 40, even close to 100 pounds. But then the moment they have a weakness or they start eating cake or eating consistent carbs, typically all that weight comes back plus more. So you just have to find a really good balance on what you're going to follow. And if you are like really attracted to like fatty foods, then you probably need to stick to a ketogenic diet. And it's something that you could adhere to and really be able to get good results from, and vice versa. If your body responds well to carbs and you crave like carbohydrates and stuff like that, then you probably don't need fatty foods. You probably just need more of a carbohydrate with just a simple protein, and that would really help. So it's, the main thing is finding out, and I know finding out what works for you. Well, how do you find out what works for you? It really is just process of elimination, picking something, sticking with that, and then getting those results, and then just information on trying to figure out what's going to work best for me. So ultimately, Jimmy, what wound up working best for him is we started doing he doesn't eat, we call it intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. So he basically doesn't eat. He only eats for 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day. So he eats from 12 to 8. And then from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. he doesn't eat. So he eats 1,800 calories in a 6-hour window or 8-hour window.
That's due to his schedule too, right?
But yes, he's a shift and worker? Partly because of that. No, he's not a shift worker. He works for Toyota.
Okay.
He does that because he's never really hungry in the morning, and it just works for his schedule. He can eat all his calories in 8 hours throughout the day. And most people wake up in the morning starving. Well, he doesn't. But we went through every possible scenario to get him to figure out what works the best. And Jimmy went from 36% body fat about a year and a half ago, and then I tested him yesterday. He's 9.4.
I saw the picture that was posted on social media.
So that's all just following nutrition. He doesn't do any cardio. He just follows his nutrition program. He eats his calories. He doesn't necessarily limit himself from stuff. He doesn't say, I'm not going to eat sugar. Mm-hmm. He follows his strict macronutrients. He doesn't eat over 1,800 calories a day. And, his body just changed drastically.
I think the thing for me that's difficult, because I've seen like, meal prepping, like in recipes, like, hey, this is this and this and this. And like, I'm looking at the calories and I'm like, okay, am I cutting this right? Am I going to do too many? Is it going to be not enough? Or like, am I following the recipe? I'm not that good of a cook. Yeah. I don't know. Like that's what's hard for me.
So there are like some calculators that you can use online that I think are very helpful. They're macro calculators, and you go in and basically put your general information, height, weight, your
age, probably, huh?
Yeah. Activity level.
Okay.
and it kind of kicks out and your goals. So if you're wanting to put on lean mass, if you're wanting to lose body fat, if you kind of let it know what you're wanting, and it'll kind of kick out a good idea of what your macros. Do you understand what macronutrients are?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so it's what your proteins, carbs, and fats for the day should be, and some of those calculators will even separate it out into meals. You can let it know how many meals that you plan on eating. Some people like to eat 3, some 4, 5, or 6. So you can kind of let it know, and it'll separate that out into meals. And then we like to use MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is a really great tool that you can carry around on your phone and track your macros on. And so once you figure out how many calories you want to take in per day, it allows you to track your exercise activity and your calories in. Basically, calories in, calories out are being tracked in that app. And you can really see why you are or aren't losing weight if you're tracking everything appropriately. So that's kind of the app that we like to use.
So right now we're talking to the Sanctuary Gym. It's 10:33. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. And Robert Villarreal, who is one of our good friends, kind of brings up an interesting point. He's saying, hey, man, I do not want to start talking or go on to a diet or like maybe even begin a new exercise routine before the holidays. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. What would you say to somebody that
I have great ones. So when it comes to like you said, your diet and nutrition, what's going to work best for you is what's going to work best for you. If you like the holidays are coming up, so that means we have 4 different Thanksgivings you have to go to.
Oh, yeah.
You have to eat 12 different pies from mama's house, grandma's house.
You have to.
You can't not eat them. They've spent the time to make them. You have to eat them. So if you know without a shadow of a doubt that on a Friday, you're going to go hardcore from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. You know that you're going to go hardcore for those, 3 hours of eating food. Then why would you wake up in the morning and eat all the way up until 3 o'clock? You're just giving yourself extra calories. So if you're going to, you need to plan for these things. So Christmas is coming up, Thanksgiving is coming up, New Year's is coming up. So there's all when the Christmas office party is going to happen, when they're going to have cupcakes and candy and pizza and tamales. And without a shadow of a doubt, whenever everything is going to be there. So let's say, for instance, this Friday, we have this Friday, we're going to have, he refuses to diet.
That's his life, Kelsey.
He's just making excuses.
Yeah. Well, but again, we were going back to talking about the macro calculators.
Yeah.
If you set yourself and say, okay, look, I'm going to only eat 1,800 calories. Those 1,800 calories should apply to basically your normal living. You're not going to have Christmas every day. But at the end of the year, I always tell Cassidy, at the end of the year, for the most part, typically, when it comes to the holidays, you just let back, enjoy, and have fun.
Yeah.
You do your work, you go to your workouts, you do your cardio, you do your stuff, and you do your thing.
But that's easy for guys to say now. As females, we have to wear like the nice black dress to the Christmas parties, and we, so this isn't a time for us ladies where we can say, oh, okay, it's November 1st. Screw the rest of the year. I'll just, be fat and happy and be, because we, like you kind of like work all year to look nice in the dress. We have New Year's Eve coming up. Like this is the time when for ladies, we're like,
crunch time.
Oh, and then the guys are like, no, it's the holidays. We're not dieting for the holidays. We're going to eat and,
Watch
do
football.
whatever. Yeah.
Well, you're going to see the family and the cousins. There's going to be a lot of pictures that are going to be taken, most likely.
But again, it's balance. Like, at what point in the year do you decide? Nope, Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like October 31st? Everyone's like, nope.
I think so.
Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming.
I think it is.
I am not dieting anymore.
I think it is.
But that's like 2 months.
I know.
2 full months of not caring.
You know why?
And
it's October 3rd. Well, all the candy. So it's like, I have all this candy. So, just eat a little bit. And then that kind of gets you started.
Like, even the week leading into Halloween, because you've already got the candy. And so then you're like, okay, so now that date that you kind of stop caring goes into like October 15th.
Exactly.
So when does it start? And when do you really have to like say, okay, this is ridiculous. Now we're getting into like September. Okay, so starting September, we just don't.
Pumpkin spice comes out. Pumpkin spice comes out. I got to drink, 700 calories for breakfast and then for lunch. And
So,
Yeah.
so let's
It's seasonal. Pumpkin spice. You can't.
So it's like the whole fall season.
it
we
is.
just
A little bit.
So let's take it back like this. If you have to plan again. We talked about if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So if you know that you're going to have a Christmas party and there's going to be all kinds of bad food there, then you wouldn't eat your normal breakfast of your balanced diet with all. Let's say you're having egg whites and oatmeal for breakfast, and then for your snack that you have more carbs or chicken and rice. Then for your lunch that you're going to have your lean ground turkey and sweet potatoes. You're eating your regular 1,800 calories, but for dinner you're going to have fajitas, which probably contains, fajitas, rice, beans, tortillas. You're probably going to have some soup or some salsa, chips and salsa. If you know without a shadow of a doubt you're going to eat all those things, then you wouldn't eat your typical normal diet all morning long and all day leading up to the evening time. So you have to plan for those things. Typically during the holidays, I actually lose weight, not necessarily trying to, but because I know that I'm going to eat. And I'm not going to eat healthy whenever I go to someone's house. I'm not going to eat just the turkey. I know that I'm going to eat. And because I know that about myself, I don't eat all day and then eat all of Thanksgiving and then eat up all night. I just eat that one time of the day. Now, many people might look at me and say, well, you're just only going to eat one time that day. Yes, I'm only going to eat 2,000 calories at once while I'm sitting there. But that's the reason why people gain weight, because they eat all day long and then they go to grandma's house and then they eat all night long, and then they just keep eating and eating and eating. And when you eat those sugary foods, have you ever noticed that, like when you go to eat something really healthy, you could go eat 5 ounces of chicken and a half a cup of broccoli and half a cup of brown rice, and you will feel stuffed. And you're sitting there still trying to get it down because those calories are your body is working to digest those calories. Well, those calories might equal up to 450 calories, but yet you can sit down and consume half of a pizza and still go have like 12 Oreos.
Ice cream and everything.
ice cream. You can eat all that because those calories are empty. They do nothing for you. There's no filler in them. It just sits on you, and it's almost like it spikes your insulin level. More and eat more and eat more. So ultimately, if you know you're going to eat bad, plan for that. Don't eat it as much the rest of the day, and then have your freedom at night whenever you're going to do it.
What is your favorite empty calorie? Mine's popcorn. Mine is popcorn. I love
Pizza.
popcorn. Pizza.
That's not empty calories. Is
Pizza. I mean, it doesn't do anything for you except make you fat.
it?
That's your goal.
Yeah.
What's yours, Kurt? Do you have one?
Cheese.
Just straight up queso.
Cheese. Just
Really?
straight up. Oh man.
He's a big queso fan.
I once had a doctor tell me that I couldn't eat cheese for no dairy for 28 days. I said, Doc, I'm gonna die. There's no way. I was like, go get me the IV now and just load me up with cheese to last for 28 days. I'll be good.
I don't know what mine is. I love breakfast food.
Like Pop-Tarts, like that's.
No,
I've heard a lot of bad things about
I like
Pop-Tarts.
But
like waffles.
I'm
and
a firm believer.
bacon.
I'm a firm believer that you could probably almost eat
Bacon and
anything
waffles.
and lose weight.
Yeah.
You just have to time it right. You can't. I'm really big on nutrient timing. I feel like you can almost eat whatever you want throughout the day if you plan it properly. Meaning, if you're going to eat 2,000 calories a day, that means you can't wake up and have Whataburger biscuits and gravy, and then go have Jack in the Box tacos for lunch, and then some Starbucks coffee in the mid-afternoon. You can't do that. That's too many calories. But if you're going to eat 2,000 calories, you can essentially eat almost whatever you want, because at the end of the day, there's so many different fads when it comes to diet and nutrition, and people think that calories aren't the same. And ultimately, they are the same. Calories are the same. It will always come down to how many calories do you burn versus how many calories you take in. And if you don't burn that amount of calories and you're taking in more, you're always going to gain weight every single time, no matter what. But on the flip side too, if you don't eat properly, if you don't eat the amount of calories that your body requires, your body's going to act like it's starving itself. So it's going to withhold, and you're still going to gain weight, or you're not going to lose it as fast.
Yeah. So I do have a question. I see on your shirt, and it's kind of like your logo. So the Sanctuary Gym, where faith meets fitness. Can you talk about that and share what that means?
Oh yeah, I might go on to preaching on this one. Yeah, I might go into preaching on this one. So,
He does sound like Grant Cardone, by the way.
So
in my ears.
I want you to think about like this. We're all believers and we all go to church and we love God. And if you go to church, or if you don't go to church, most of the time when people do go to church, you read your Bible, you read some sort of encouraging word, some sort of daily devotional. People say their prayers every single day. We encourage, inspire, and try to uplift each other every single day. That is your faith working every single day. Well, what happens if you don't work on your faith? What happens when you don't read your Bible? What happens when you don't go to church? What happens when you don't listen to praise and worship music or anything that's encouraging or inspiring? You lose it. You start to question your faith. You start to question, does God even exist? Because you're not working on your faith. You're working on, you have all these questions. So fitness is no different. If you're not, I don't want to say dieting, because dieting is has negative connotation.
Right. Yeah.
If you're not eating the proper foods, if you're not doing your cardio, if you're not training, if you're not, essentially working on those things, you lose your faith the same way that you lose your fitness. It's a constant progress. It's constant work. It's constant every single day. And in our gym, we call it where faith meets fitness because our staff is super encouraging. So our motto at the gym is hugs and high fives. And every single day, we encourage our employees to give a hug or a high five to everybody. and ultimately, people go through every single day. People wake up and go to jobs they hate. They're in relationships they don't want to be in. They stuck in traffic all day long. People go through so much. They have to work with people that they don't like. People literally go through so much every single day. And the last thing that they should do is be stressed out coming to a gym and feeling some sort of, that's ultimately why it's called the sanctuary. The sanctuary literally means a safe haven, a safe place. So all we want to do is provide a safe place where people can come, get loved on, get a hug, get a high five, and make that ultimately the high point of your day. Is just coming home and making sure that, I have to go to the gym. I need to go work on me. We play Christian music all day long, 24 hours a day. We're open 24/7. Every member that has a key card, everybody that's a member to the gym has a 24-hour access key card. They get to come to the gym whenever they want. The gym is never closed to members. And at any time in the day when you come into the gym, there will either be some sort of Kurt Franklin gospel music playing, or sometimes we play Christian hip hop. We play a lot of Jeremy Camp. So, we like to make it to where our gym, we want our gym to be the highlight of your day.
That's awesome. That's very cool. I like that it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And so anybody, you can come up there. If you're a member, you have a key card, you have the code, you can get in there and take care of, because everybody's schedule is different. Some people like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and then other people it doesn't work.
We have a lot of people that come in at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, a lot of shift workers, plant workers.
And fire department, Friendswood PD. We have a lot of Friendswood PD. Shout out to Friendswood PD.
That's cool. So Joe Perez said Cassidy is a jiu-jitsu champion.
I do compete. So I train out of Gracie, Baja, Texas, under Draculino. I'm a blue belt, so
cool.
I have a long ways to go, but
yeah,
I do. I compete quite a bit. So
that's what's up. So we were at Fury Fighting Championships in Humble, and there were some people that were training. At least that sounds familiar. Where the guys are getting in the cage, and they didn't have any ladies. Is that something you would ever want to do?
MMA, yeah. So definitely, it's something that I've considered quite a bit. Jonathan, for sure, probably doesn't want to get me watch me get punched in the face.
I will jump in the cage.
It's hard for him to watch me. I think compete in jiu-jitsu sometimes. But so the biggest thing is my age. If I were a little younger, I would for sure do it 100%. I got into jiu-jitsu about 3 years ago, and I just currently at my age to get into MMA, once you're above 35 years old, you have to have these CT scans and things to make sure that everything's cool in your brain, which is good.
Say 26 is a bad age to start.
No, thank you. I know. No, yeah. Hey, you can high five him for that. That
was a good one, Kurt. That's the best thing you said there.
That deserves a big high five. So you have to have like an EKG, so you have to check your heart, check your brain. It's a lot of stuff that you have to, and you would have to do that I'm not sure if it's every fight or every year to do to take any professional fights. And it's a lot. And there's a reason for that, because, and I have kids and I have to think about that. And I just, I don't know, jiu-jitsu, I get to compete in jiu-jitsu, and I kind of get my fix on.
Yeah, that's cool.
Jiu-jitsu right now. But
the MMA, the blood goes everywhere.
Well, we were sitting.
I'm not worried
ringside.
about that. Like, I'm okay with that. I actually am considering, I think I'm going to get back into Muay Thai. So I haven't done Muay Thai here at Draculinas. When I was in Dallas, I was doing
Uh-huh.
Muay Thai. I think I want to get back into just training Muay Thai and maybe work some of the MMA classes and just do sparring with the guys
That's cool.
that are doing the fighting, but I won't actually go fight.
Yeah,
So then I'm just helping them, in sparring and stuff.
Yeah.
So I have considered doing that.
that's cool. They let us have media passes. We had never been to either a boxing match. I've never even been to like a martial arts competition, anything. So we were sitting straight up. The cage is like right here. And at one point, blood was like, I thought Curt spit on me. And I was like,
You got
Curt,
blood on
quit
you?
spitting on me. And I was like, look down. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there's just blood. I was like, does anybody have a napkin? Like anybody
Yeah.
napkin?
Yeah.
But it was, man, it was an experience. It was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
I'm
Was
not
that
a
your first MMA fight?
Yeah, they never had
Oh.
anything like that.
It was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, I'm
On
not
TV.
a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
And it doesn't bother me at all.
Really?
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I've been known to have kind of a temper, so I don't want anybody like squeezing my neck really hard or trapping me. I just stay away from stuff like that. I
Yeah.
don't like to train like that. I don't.
Yeah.
I like to
and I
lift
don't
weights.
I don't get angry in jujitsu, and I think most people that practice martial arts, like it's not you're not angry and they're fighting. You don't have to be angry at your opponent. It's kind of like a chess match.
Right.
So it's not so much like angry
rage.
fighting. Yeah, like because you're mad at the person. Like it's literally like a chess match.
Yeah.
Like you're choosing your next steps.
There was 14 fights that night, and pretty much some of them were professional, some were amateur, depending
Mhm.
on, the status and how they wanted to do it. But
Yeah.
every single one of them pretty much, hugged it out at the end. They all had the same goal, trying
Yeah.
to make a career, and go to the next level or whatever their goal may be. But that was really cool to see, even in the
I
back,
think
like,
we had a couple guys there. I think Christian Guzman, who was on here earlier, I think he might have been fighting at that one.
that's cool.
Christian, that sounds familiar. We shot video of the entire thing. We're putting together a video for Jose Solis, and
He trains out of Tech in Lamarck, rather.
and so
under
they
Drew
were.
Radicek, ACS?
What is that?
ACS under Drew Radicek?
He trains under it's Texas Strike Force or
Okay.
Texas Strike Academy, but they're like right there off Highway 3 and close to Cedar or something. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it was cool. I hope to get to go back and
That'd be a lot
do
of
some
fun.
stuff with him again. But it's just it's neat to see how this area, whether it is with sports or even martial arts, like Premier Martial Arts with Al Garza
Mhm.
over there. And so I started my son training over there.
Oh,
He's
cool.
he just turned 6 today. Today's his birthday.
Nice.
And
Happy birthday.
yeah. So it's fun. I don't know. It's just to see because it all ties together. Fitness,
does.
working out, eating right. We do some stuff with Reality of Wrestling, Booker T, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
have some wrestlers in
Mhm.
here as well. So I was like, kind of look like a wrestler with the hair. They were sharing all about their diets, and a lot of them do intermittent fasting because they have to be strong, look strong, and it's a big thing.
Mhm.
I look strong. I feel strong.
Well, as long as you look in the mirror and you feel strong, that's what matters, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Do you think how long would it take if we got Curt into like competitive bodybuilding? Like how much time would we need? Like 6 months of dedication to mold him into like the Hulk?
4 years.
The Hulk.
It's gonna take some
I'm
years.
gonna need
Really?
to see like
Yeah.
arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get
Take
a
off your
bicep?
jacket, Curt. Look at that. I think
It's
like
coming off.
30 days. Oh, he's very proud of his.
Yes, for sure years. For sure
Yeah,
years.
it's gonna be like 4 years.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, you can make you really can make some drastic changes if you just put some time and some effort into things. But when it comes to competitive bodybuilding, that's a
all about
marathon.
the eating. It's
That's
like you eat like it's your job.
Wow.
and it's a marathon. It's nothing that you can do short term. It's years and years and years of constant repetitive over and over and over the same thing every single day.
Yeah. So do people kind of get into that because they find a love for the gym? They're like, I'm just working out, and they're like, man, I've been training, for 3 years, and I'm seeing my gains, and they're like, I could compete, and then they take it to the next level.
Well, I think the sport has changed, to be honest with you. And back then,
Look at that light.
And I've told him it's the shadow. It's like literally the shadow.
I
from
need
the
to come.
cover.
I need to come get over in that way.
Look at that bicep.
Listen, what's this
Oh,
light doing over here?
Yeah, he's like, never mind.
Oh.
Put your jacket back on, Curt.
So I think the sport honestly has changed. Years ago, whenever I started bodybuilding, I honestly it was for me. Fitness has always been an escape for me. So there's a lot of people they they have a vice, and their vice is either drinking or doing drugs or
Video games.
whatever their vice is. People typically have a vice, and that's where they run over
disorders.
eating bad food. That's probably the main one, but eating disorders and all that. So when it comes to like bodybuilding, for me, lifting weights was my vice. Lifting weights is something that I was good at. I've never done drugs. I don't really drink. We every now and then we might do something, but it's very rare that we do that. You know, we stick to, you know, the gym and working, and so for me, my vice has always been lifting weights, and it's just something that I was good at. And because I was so good at it, you know, bodybuilding 10, 15 years ago was whoever worked the hardest won. And back then it was awarded first place got to become a pro. They were considered an IFBB pro. Cassidy here is an IFBB pro. So back in the day, the highest award was awarded to the person who worked the hardest. Now it's top 5 gets recognized, top 3 gets recognized. And now it's like, you know, it's just the sport has changed completely over the years. And, you know, the people that worked the hardest years and years ago, I think appreciated it a lot more than now, because now we're in the age and time where everybody gets an award and everybody gets recognized for the same exact hard work that the people that worked hard did. And, you know, so for bodybuilding, it's changed for me, and, you know, and it's changed for casting. I think it's changed for a lot of people. You know, again, back in 2006, when I started bodybuilding, the whole sport was completely different than it is now.
But to touch on your question, I think the reason that people get into bodybuilding, everyone has different reasons. I think a lot of people get into bodybuilding and lifting weights and burying themselves in the gym. I think sometimes it comes from a really positive place, but sometimes it comes from like trauma. The gym can be therapy. Like it's very therapeutic to go to the gym. And a lot of times someone will endure some kind of major life trauma, some kind of major life experience, and they kind of bury themselves in the gym and they start seeing results. And then going into prep, which is what you are in whenever you're prepping for a bodybuilding competition, putting yourself into prep, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of an isolation process, because you have to isolate, because you're spending hours doing cardio, hours lifting in the gym. And sometimes that's with somebody, and sometimes that's a lot of times that's alone. People say they're going to do it with you, but when it comes down to putting all the hours in, you end up doing most of it, you know, on your own. And so your hours of food prep, you're literally eating like it's your job. I was eating, 6 meals a day, 10 ounces of protein a meal. A female, that's me, I'm a female. So it was a lot. And so I was either eating, doing cardio, lifting weights, or I was working, and it was, or sleeping. Like it was literally every hour of every day was taken during that prep. And a typical prep is like 20, 24 weeks. So you literally are going into like this isolation mode for that whole time. And 24 weeks is a long time to be isolated, but it can be very therapeutic and means of like, if you had this major trauma, you get to get in there and like really focus on this one goal. And there's as you get closer to that goal, there's an end in sight. And whenever you get close to that end, you kind of hone in, and it's therapeutic. There's like this therapy, and
that's cool.
And so I think, and then you make it to your show, you have your big, moment on stage, and it's like a revealing of all of that hard work. And so it's like an unwrapping of this big thing that you've been working on kind of in private. Sometimes some people are very vocal and
yeah. I wonder, is there any because sometimes I think of whenever I got married, my wife, like it took, I don't know, like 6 months planning, 8 months, however long the engagement was. Yes. You're like preparing. And then like after it's done, it's like, what do I do now? What happens now?
Yes, that happens a lot. So a lot of people kind of get, and that's why, and then they're like, okay, well, I'll pick another show.
What do they call it? The post show?
Yeah, there's like post show depression. Like people really, and it's real, and it's not just like mental depression. It's also like food. So people like prep. So they do all this prep. You diet, do all this cardio getting into your show. Well, there's like a reverse diet and a reverse cardio process that you really have to go through. So your prep to your show really needs to almost be double what you planned on prepping, because you need to reverse out of that show.
Yeah.
And
why don't people just stay prepping all the time?
Because it's not healthy. Like being that lean is not healthy for
How lean do you have
the
to be? Like
human
pretty lean, right?
I mean, you're in the
Very.
single digit percentage.
Like
Yeah.
3-4% or
Yeah,
something.
two-
and
four,
and
yeah.
that's unhealthy for men, but very unhealthy for women, because at that stage women stop having their natural menstrual cycles. Like it really starts to manipulate hormone levels,
Mhm,
adrenal system starts to, it really can manipulate some things. So it's not healthy to be that lean that long, and so you really do have to, it's necessary to have off seasons in
Yeah.
bodybuilding, and so you have to reverse out of that. And so yes, there is a kind of sad like drop off at the end, because you have this big show and everyone's like paying attention to you, and then all of a sudden your show's over, and then it's like there's kind of like this fall off.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to mentally grow out of that, and have an off season, feel comfortable in your skin at a heavier weight whenever you've gotten so used to being lean and everyone noticing how lean and healthy.
Yeah, you see the veins and the
Yeah, and
percentage
they're
and
like,
your
"Oh,
six
you
pack
look
and all the
so
muscles.
great."
And then
And then like 2 months later, you're walking around and you're like normal, and
Right.
everyone's like, "Oh, did you see Cassidy? She looks, she's
Yeah.
gained so much weight." Well, you're not. You're just normal. You're back to like a kind of a normal body fat level, but that can be very like mentally taxing on somebody who's been now used to being so lean for so long.
what is like
So-
a normal, like a percentage? Like if you're like it's hard because everybody's different, but like for someone average, like what's a good healthy window for somebody?
Average body fat, I believe for men is around the 20. Well, supposedly the average body fat for men, I believe, is around 24%. But for me, I like to say the high teens. If you're in the high teens, like 18, 19, I feel like in your mind, you feel good and you look good.
Yeah.
If you're in the 20s, you still can't see any type of, your stomach's not really flat. You still have some belly fat and some belly fat on some back fat, I should say. But I feel like high teens is what everybody should shoot for, and females should shoot for low 20s, probably high teens as well. I think normal, like on our body fat percentage papers at the gym, it's like 20 to 24 is what the men is, 20 to 24, and female, I believe, is 24 to 28.
Yeah, something like that.
But physically, what I see where people are happiest, females are in the low 20s, high teens, and males are in the mid to high teens.
Okay.
That's where they're the happiest. Is
Yeah.
where that is sustainable.
And then what are those three pillars again? If we could touch on those, like I think it was like diet.
Cardio, nutrition, and
Weight
weight training.
Yeah. So you need those three, and then those will allow you to hopefully find something that works for you.
Yep.
Can y'all believe we're just we're out of time? It's already
wow.
11 o'clock, huh?
Wow, yeah.
Boom.
That is-
I told
could
you it
talk
goes
all
by
day.
It goes
fast.
by fast.
And if somebody was looking for your location, can you let us know where you're located, how they can find you on the internet, social media, and maybe why they should try the Sanctuary Gym?
Yes. So again, we are located in Friendswood, Texas, 133 West Parkwood Avenue, Friendswood, Texas. That's right at the corner of 528 and 518, behind Gina's Italian Restaurant. There's a Texas First Bake in that parking lot, and an HEB. And I think that the Sanctuary Gym is a place for people to be able to come and feel comfortable. Unlike a lot of gyms, I think people feel intimidated going into. I think our environment is a little bit different. It's much more accepting of everybody.
Mhm.
I don't think that we cater to any one group of people, age-wise, sex-wise. Like there's just a very well-rounded group. We have kids. I have a 91-year-old client. We have a great personal training staff. We give hugs and high fives out like candy, seriously. And people are going to feel welcome there. And you can accomplish really any goal in that gym. We have everything that you could possibly need to accomplish your fitness goals at the Sanctuary Gym. And we would love to give you a 3-day pass if you'd like to come check us out and give you a tour of the gym. So,
Awesome.
So thank you guys for having us. This has been really awesome.
We had fun too.
Woo!
That's Jonathan's a wooer.
It's 11:01. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This has been Kickstart. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, Moore Memorial Public Library. We're going to be there till about 1 o'clock, accepting non-perishable food items. We're going to be donating those to the Galveston County Food Bank.
Yeah, we're super excited. We'll see you there.
Coming up next, I'm Toby Mack, KHEARadio.com and 99.5 FM. We'll see you tomorrow. And if we don't see you tomorrow, we'll see you Monday morning at 8:30 for Kickstart on KHEA Radio.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Love ya.
Later.
Where do y'all live at?
Awesome.